Northwest of Cincinnati, the Truck Series brings its horsepower to horse country. But with just 6 races remaining, these thoroughbreds have a lot more at stake this time around. Prep time is over. Who makes a run for the roses? Experienced sire and a handful of yearlings in the top 5. Hornaday, Peters, Sauter, he's looking for redemption. Buscher has slipped but still in the fight, but now they are all chasing Austin Dillon. A few months ago, the Cup Series made its debut in the Bluegrass, but the Trucks baptized this track over a decade ago. Now the flatbeds return for round 2 in their old Kentucky home. The setup presented by Polaris is on. Hello everyone, welcome to the setup. I'm Krista Voda. As you can see, a chilly night in Kentucky, just barely 50 degrees, and it is only going to get colder. Last time we were here 3 months ago, it was a NASCAR triple header this weekend. This time, trucks sharing the track with the IndyCar Series. As we said, when it's cold on the track, that means the speeds go up. Ray Dunlap and Hermie Sadler are right now running around trying to stay warm. Hey Ray, I've got good news. No mustache. That means no icicles on the stash.
Well, yeah, but you know what, Krista, I might have a little post-nasal drip. That could be a problem later. But I'll tell you what, when a lot of fans asked me this week what I thought the biggest victories ever in the history of NASCAR have been, and here's the list I made. How about this? Daytona 500 win for Dale Earnhardt back in 1998. How about 200 wins for Richard Petty when he won at Daytona? And I think Jeff Gordon getting win number 85 goes way up there on my list. But tonight, I think we could add to that list because Ron Hornaday is on the verge of getting win number 50 in the Camping World Trucks, and that would be one of the biggest ever in NASCAR history.
Well, Ray, you're exactly right. And also, you talk about Matt Crafton. He qualified 6th tonight. Always good on the mile-and-a-half racetracks. Well, he will not start where he qualified. He had felt a vibration inside of that engine on his qualifying run. This team had to change the engine. They did get the job done complete, but he will have to start at the back of the pack and make his way back to the front if Matt Crafton is going to maintain his position in the points. So 88 going to the back. Ray?
Hey, Hermie, look who I found down in the corral. How about Richard Childress has made it all the way over from Dover? And a big night tonight for RCR, Richard, when Ty Dillon's going to make his debut in trucks, and Austin, just everything's on a roll for that. Any advice that you've given to Ty in his first start in trucks?
Yeah, we just kept him really tight in qualifying because we knew he was going to run it wide open, and just kept him good and tight. And we're just telling him, just run all the laps, finish tonight, get used to the track, get used to the guys you can race with and the ones you can't. And he's a pretty smart kid, so this feels like good hunting weather for your real tree and bad boy buggies, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Glad to have you here, and I'll tell you what, a big night as the Dillon brothers race for the first time together in Camping World Trucks. Krista?
Thanks, Ray. He's not just the truck owner, a proud grandfather, and you can see that pride in his big old smile. Well, 2 weeks ago in Chicago, the Truck Series regulars proved that just because Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick is in the race doesn't mean they win the race. But then in our last race, well, one of those Cup contenders wanted to even the score. Here's a look back at our last race last week in New Hampshire.
The pace car hits pit road. We're set to go with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Pole center, Kyle Busch takes the outside lane for the drop of the green flag. It's in the air, and we're underway here at the Magic Mile. Kevin Harvick to the inside, Kyle Busch to the outside. It's Busch as they hit turn 1. It continues to be Kyle Busch by a healthy margin as he continues to show the way over Austin Dillon.
Just so you know, we get to traffic, Austin, and his nose raises up so high he can't go, okay? Just so you know that later in the race.
Kyle Busch has had some issues.
Well, he's been trying for a number of laps to get by Jason White, enough so it allowed Austin to catch him. And you talk about maybe moving somebody out of the way, Michael, that's exactly what Kyle did right there to Jason White, and there's a little more contact right there.
The leader is in.
Here he comes, the Traxxas remote control cars. Toyota comes to a stop.
Austin Dillon, the Tracker Boats, Bass Pro Shop, Chevrolet in. The Wranglers go on the right side. No major adjustments here.
No visible chassis adjustments for the man who's dominated today. That's Kyle Busch. We should have seen him on the pit road for the last time.
During the pit stops, Kyle Busch gained 5 seconds on Austin Dillon.
Still got half a straightaway.
Near perfect day for the Traxxas Toyota and Kyle Busch all by himself at the front of the field.
All right, check it quick. Nice work, bud. Nice work, guys. Good job. Way to put it together.
checkered flag in the air for the 6th time of the year, the 30th of his career. Kyle Busch is headed to victory lane.
Hell yeah, brother. Nice job this weekend, guys.
Looking at the points, Cole Witt and Parker Kligerman flip-flop, 17 points. That's all that separates the bottom half of this list. Up top, the first 3, only 7 points apart. Wow, and we have a new leader this week. Buescher drops to second, Austin Dillon back up front. But Ray is with a driver who just might be making a charge tonight.
Great qualifying effort for Ron Hornaday. The Hollywood Casino Chevrolet looked fast in practice. Can you win the race tonight, Ron?
I hope to think so. Bruce and the guys done a great job on this Chevrolet, so we're optimistic. It's really cold out and a lot of grip, so we'll see. I mean, got a lot of thoughts and prayers. We got Steve on our side, my brother-in-law. He's fighting a little bit of cancer, so he's on our side, and I don't see why we can't.
Make sure you remind him when you come into pit to tell you to stop at truck number 2, okay?
I signed in already on the 33, so that messed up Kel Gale. So I'm glad you said that. I got to go look at the signs and look at which one I got to stop at.
Hermie, you're next.
Well, thank you, Ray. And last time we were at Kentucky, it looked like Joey Coulter might be going to victory lane. Got another fast truck here this weekend. Tell us about your chances.
I think we got a pretty good shot. You know, our truck was decent. Qualifying wasn't quite what we were looking for, but I was real happy with it in race trim yesterday. Harold and the guys did a great job adjusting the temperature. It's going to get cold tonight, so we'll see what happens, but I feel pretty good about it.
And talk about what it's like to be back here a couple months later and running over a second faster than you were at the same racetrack. Tell the fans at home what it's like, what the difference is from inside of the truck.
It's pretty awesome. We were expecting it to speed up quite a bit, you know, based on the temperature, but I don't think anybody expected it to speed up like it did. I'm real excited for this race. I think it's going to be a heck of a show.
Well, he qualified 9th, Kristen. This kid has come a long way this year, turned a lot of heads. Don't be surprised if he goes to victory lane.
He certainly has turned some heads. Thanks, Hermie. And, you know, last time we were here, the championship picture really changed. Johnny Sauter's championship hopes took a huge hit. He came in as the leader, sat on the pole, led 24 laps before dropping back with transmission trouble. He would finish a disappointing 24th. Ray caught up to him.
Well, no question about it, that race in July, one that got away from Johnny Sauter and the 13 team. Can you get redemption for that tonight, Johnny?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a whole different racetrack. I mean, you know, we sat on the pole here in July at a 31 flat, and the pole tonight's a 30 flat. So the track's about a second faster, and we've actually, you know, I thought we were really good in practice yesterday. Obviously didn't qualify as good as we wanted to. So Safe Auto Chevy was really good on a long run. I think, you know, we had a lot of speed, especially on the lap tracker, but qualifying just wasn't what we wanted. So track position's obviously going to be pretty crucial tonight, and you know, grip is of the essence, I guess. So racetrack's really cool. So we just got to go out there and see what we can do.
All right, remember, Krista, it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish, right?
And that's why you have to stay tuned for the whole race. Coming up, we'll hear from other championship contenders, including our points leader. By the way, his truck happens to be right behind me. He is on the pole. But the guys up front aren't the only ones racing for something important. Let's take a look at our thumbs up. As we go to break, we're going to show you some guys who come into Kentucky with some pep in their step after Loudon. A 25th place finish might be a bad day for some, but Norm Benning doesn't have the resources that a lot of teams have. He's here each week, plugging away. Jason White salvaged a top 20 last week, but this is the race he's had circled on his calendar. 4th here last year, 5th in July. And you heard the hunger in Johnny Sauter's voice. He picked up a point on the 2 drivers in front of him in the standings with a 5th place finish last week. The temperature is dropping. The action is heating up. The setup presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World and the Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. And brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. Last time we were here, traffic was the headline. Since then, Speedway Motorsports has acquired a 143-acre parcel of land that will be used for parking for next summer's race, which is expected to increase available event parking by 35%. Welcome back to the Kentucky Speedway, and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet has also said they will improve surrounding highways to allow faster access to those parking areas. I know that's big news for all the NASCAR fans who will be coming back in July. So what else has been going on here at Kentucky, specifically this week? Well, Brendan Gaughan has been very busy indeed. Brendan Gaughan went to the nearby Newport Aquarium in Newport, Kentucky. Brendan Gaughan, a master scuba diver, jumped into the tank. He didn't just stand by on the sidelines. Gaughan joked that swimming with sharks literally is a lot easier than swimming with the sharks of the Truck Series. He even joked and made faces at fans who gathered for an informal meet and greet. That's typical Brendan right there. And then he did an interview underwater.
What are the coolest animals you've seen in the wild?
Finally saw a giant Pacific octopus not too long ago. That was sitting close to Miami, you guys right here. Had an orca swam up close with these guys on the corner town. Scared the poopy out of me.
So, what was your favorite dive?
When he come out pit road, I go, man, this thing is really warm. But when it goes to the corner, he hangs out in that yaw, man. I go.
Anytime you're underwater is your favorite dive. And right now, I mean, this is what we're wearing. This is my favorite dive.
Well, we're catching Brendan Gaughan actually high above Kentucky. You had a fun week this week, and coming back to a racetrack, you got your best season, finished third. Can you improve that by 2 spots tonight?
You know, the track temp's going to make a big difference, but Kentucky did a really cool thing. Got to dive with the sharks at the Newport Aquarium. Had a great time doing that, one of my passions, and now it's time to give them some payback. They let me have a good time. Let's put on a good show for the crowd. Maybe get our Toyota to the front tonight.
Well, that's Brendan Gaughan. He's having a lot of fun down here. Been having a lot of fun all week. He'd like to cap it off tonight in Victory Lane.
Hey, Hermie, the mile and a halves have been very, very good to Nelson Piquet Jr. You got a great qualifying effort tonight. So what's your forecast for this evening here on a cold night in Kentucky?
Very cold. No air conditioning in the truck, that's for sure. You have to run good. I mean, you have to be safe until the end of the race and make sure we're in a good position in the last restarts and make sure we can win the race. I mean, this is the goal until the end of the year, is to win at least a race, so that's what I'm going to fight for.
Now, where you live in Brazil, does it ever get this cold?
Depends where you are. Where I'm from, particularly, no, it doesn't get this cold. It's usually more kind of a Miami weather kind. So
let's go there.
I lived 6 years in England, so this is not too bad for me, actually.
Okay, go get him. Nelson Piquet Jr. will roll off third position tonight here in Kentucky.
Thanks, Ray. Yeah, this is definitely not Miami weather. You know, Kentucky fans, though, are some of the most loyal in the world, whether it has 4 wheels, 4 legs, or it's college sports. In fact, that's what Kentucky son Darrell Waltrip wrote to me today when I mentioned that Wildcat fans have been camping out in this cold weather for the last 3 nights awaiting tickets to college basketball's Midnight Madness. Michael Waltrip knows all of what we're talking about. He, Rick Allen, and Phil Parsons are standing by upstairs, probably planning their zone defense as we speak.
Well, yeah, a couple forwards and a guard here. I think we'd make pretty good defense. Hey, I tell you what, though, let's talk a little bit about racing and the speeds that we've seen already here at the racetrack. A new track record was set earlier. Isn't that why you guys decided to race? You want to go fast?
That's exactly why I wanted to race. I wanted to go fast, and this is a fast place. 60-degree track temperature, less than what we had here in July. 25 trucks ran faster than the pole from July. That's how fast this place is, as well as 5 trucks beating the old track record. So this place is wicked fast. It's going to be wicked fast tonight, but when they have 35 other trucks around them, Michael, business is going to pick up.
Yeah, it'll get crazy, but what I like about tonight, it's the truck drivers' night to shine. All the eyes of the NASCAR community are focused right here on the Kentucky Speedway. Heck, a couple of Cup owners, Richard Childress and Roger Penske, they made the trip over to watch this race. You've got a couple of Cup drivers that own trucks up in Dover, Delaware, that are glued to the TV set to see what happens tonight. Fans and sponsors all across the country that want to watch these truck guys. They don't have to share the track tonight with Harvick and Busch. It's all about them. And what a perfect night for it to be all about them, because we got these fast speeds you talked about, and what a raceable track we have here at Kentucky. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, it's a great situation, I think, for an Austin Dillon, who has already mentioned that he's going to be making the move to the Nationwide Series next year. But as you mentioned, everyone is watching the truck race this evening, and a lot of owners are saying, okay, we've got a Parker Kligerman out there, Nelson Piquet Jr., all guys looking to get their first win in the trucks.
And they're going to be driving over 185 miles an hour in a pickup truck. If you can't impress somebody doing that, you don't have a shot.
The pole average was almost 180 miles an hour, just shy of 180 miles an hour. It's incredible the talent we have in this garage right now. And the young drivers, we have 5 of our top 10 right now, 21 years old or younger, including
Zone defense.
Oh, zone defense.
Are you blocking Phil out?
I'm trying to block him out. I got to get it back to Krista.
Well, I have a couple of questions for you guys. You mentioned guard and forward. Who's the guard? I have no idea.
Well, he's standing on a box, if that gives you a hint.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, a lot of talent up there in the booth for sure. The other question is it a paddock or a garage? Well, this weekend, it's both because the truck drivers are sharing the spotlight with the IndyCar stars. Only 2 races remain in IndyCar League's 2011 season, and some of our Truck Series drivers had a little fun earlier this week. Ray Dunlap went along with Brendan Gaughan, Brian Eichler, Jason White, and Todd Bodine for some laps in a 2-seater IndyCar here at Kentucky Speedway. When you go fast for a living, you think it would be that different, right? Think again.
Thanks, bud. I drove the hell. Yeah. That was awesome, man. Thank you, buddy. That was cool.
When he come off pit road, I go, man, this thing is really going. But when it goes through the corners, it hangs out in that yaw, man. I go, man, if I can get my truck handle on this weekend, these boys are going to have some fun.
Downforce, that's the key, but look at all the smiles here. That was a lot of fun.
They were in good hands. Davey Hamilton driving them around. Now, Will Power and Dario Franchitti have been back and forth in the standings this year. Power currently leads Franchitti by 11 points. So who are the ones to watch this weekend? Well, how about Parker Kligerman? Kligerman's career best finish is second. He achieved that most recently right here in July. Kligerman has been very strong in the mile and a half. And you know, Todd Bodine, he loves the mile and a half tracks. He won this race in 2010. In fact, that was his last win. So you know the champ is hungry. He finished 4th here in July. Stick around. We are just getting warmed up. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. And brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. The last few weeks, a handful of drivers have been making statements, seemingly announcing that they would be the one others will have to go through to win the championship. This week, without those Cup stars sharing the spotlight, another statement could be made tonight. Well, Austin Dillon has certainly been taking the biggest swings at what he hopes will be his first NASCAR championship. As we said, he comes in the points leader, and he's doing everything right so far. He's on the pole, his truck right behind me. But tonight, he'll have an extra set of eyes watching every move he makes. And tonight, they will be literally inches from him. His little brother, Ty, makes his Truck Series debut tonight. The Dillon boys have a shot of winning titles both in the same year. Ty has dominated the ARCA season, but has not mathematically locked things up yet. Austin leading the points here. One of the best battles in NASCAR. I believe Hermie is with both Dillon boys.
Well, I do, and it's an exciting night for the entire Dillon family. Grandfather Richard Childress is here. Big night. We'll start with the elder brother. Austin qualified up front, 12th career pole. You've had a rocket all weekend. I know you want to win tonight and keep that championship hope alive as well.
For sure. Danny Stockman and the crew really pay great attention to detail, and that's why we're up front tonight. The truck's handling well. I feel very comfortable out here tonight. I got to say hey to my friends back at home, Shane McDowell and Dale and his whole family. They had a tragic accident last night with his mom, and we're really racing for him tonight, and we're going to have an Angel behind us, so I'm looking forward to race tonight. I think we got something for the win.
And Brother Ty, I know you've looked forward to this opportunity for a long time to make it to the Camping World Truck Series. Full schedule planned, for next year, but seat time is very, very important. Tell us how your weekend's been so far, and what do you think of your chances, and what are your expectations?
Yeah, seat time's going to be really valuable. I'm really excited for this race. We're going to get out there and learn as much as we can. Every practice we've gotten better. I think it's just me learning the track, learning these trucks, getting more confident. I think that's what's going to happen during this race. And Scott and the guys did a really good job getting this truck ready, kind of last-minute deal. And really happy, glad to have Bad Boy Buggies and Realtree Outfitters on the car, and just ready to go have some fun.
Well, look, I've got a brother that races as well. I know y'all want to get on TV and support each other, but is there any kind of, let's get it started, any kind of sibling rivalry, any kind of side bets, anything we need to know about?
For sure. I think Phil's going to let you know about one of our rivalries here at this track when we were running Bandoleros back in the day. But we're competitive anything. And I got to say hey to Johnny Morris and the guys at Tracker Boat Convention right now. I got to give them a shout out. They're hanging out down there in Branson, Missouri.
And I got a question for you. If it comes down coming off turn 4, on the last lap. The three's in front. Excuse me?
Easy, man. We ain't gonna even go there. We're brothers. We like each other.
I know. That's why I'm asking him. What happens off turn 4 if you got to move him a little bit to get the win?
I don't know. I might have to be careful this time just because him and his team have done such a great job on this championship so far. I might give him a break this time, but if it ever happens again and I'm in the same series as him, it'll be a little different.
That's Austin Dillon. They're looking forward to a fun, exciting night. A lot of expectations, but really has been impressive in the ARCA Series on dirt. People expecting a lot out of Ty Dillon.
Hermie, the last couple of races have not gone quite as well as Timothy Peters had hoped for, but there's a chance here. You're still in this championship chase, so can you go out there and get her done tonight?
I think so. Our truck is a lot better this week than it was when we came in the summer, so that's a positive. I was talking with Butch earlier. I feel like I can hustle it around traffic where before we couldn't do that. So we feel like we went on 180. That didn't work out, so we went ahead and did a complete 360. Thanks to our teammates for helping us out. And, we need to get Service Central and Big O Tires, Crescent Hand Tools, and Tundra a good run on these mile and a halves. And we're going to have to run good at these mile and a halves to get back on top to try to give Austin and others guys doing well in the points at Homestead a challenge.
Okay, flip the switch on the seat warmer and stay warm in there, okay?
You too. You need like my sweatshirt or something.
Maybe I'll get a loan. I'm not sure. I did get these great gloves, though, for like $3. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Jason White is carrying one of our onboard cameras tonight, and you love this racetrack. 2 top 5s your last 2 trips here. Had a good chance to win here in July. I know you didn't qualify quite like you wanted, but your truck has looked good in practice.
Well, that's it, Hermie. Truck's really good in race runs and stuff like that. It's not as fast as we like it in qualifying, so we're not too happy about that. But in the race here, we're going to go get them and get it to the front here pretty quick.
You talk about this racetrack. We've always had bumps in turns 1 and 2. A lot of drivers are saying it's even. Some people call it bumps. Some people call it character. You see any difference in the racetrack as far as the bumps at these higher speeds?
Well, when we came here in July, it was really bumpy. It was hotter. It didn't have as much grip. Here tonight, it's been pretty easy to run wide open a lot. It's definitely kind of smoothing out because you got so much grip because it's so cold out here, and Goodyear's brought a heck of a tire. So it's going to be a little bit different race tonight, but we'll see what we got for him.
That's Jason White. Ray, who you got?
Hermie, Todd Bodine is second on the list of winners on mile and a half. So only Kyle Busch has won more. You've won 12 times, but guess what? None yet in 2011. Are you going to get this Valvoline Tundra to victory lane tonight?
I hope so. We really struggled the first practice getting it right over the bumps. This place is really rough. And we struggled, but we worked out. We got it better, made some big changes, got it really good. And so we kind of went out in the second practice as our first practice, and we didn't get the time that we needed, but we were close. I think our Tundra is going to be okay. It's adjustable. Junior's built in a lot of adjustment to the truck. Hopefully we get this Valvoline Tundra up front.
And I'll tell you this, Krista, he did better at the hat store than I did.
Well, I was just going to say it. It looks like Todd Bodine and I shop at the same hat store. Hey, we mentioned Richard Childress here, a proud grandfather, speaking there to Randy Bernard, CEO of the IndyCar Series. All eyes watching the trucks. Plenty of NASCAR for your liking on Speed tomorrow. Starts at 10:30 a.m. Eastern and goes all the way through the day until the sun goes down. Speed Center bookends the NASCAR menu. Here we expect our championship battle to go down to the wire. Big brother Austin Dillon on the pole, little brother Ty Dillon in the race. Who will have the horseshoe in the bluegrass? The Kentucky 225 on Speed starts right now.
July, it was Kyle Busch celebrating when the checkers flew in Kentucky. Tonight, no cup crashers in the field to steal the truck's thunder. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Kentucky 225 on Speed. With just 6 races remaining this season, only 7 points separate the top 3. The veteran, Johnny Sauter, sits 3rd, but experience is on his side as he battles against 2 21-year-olds. James Buescher in 2nd, still searching for his first Truck Series win. And Austin Dillon leading the points, and tonight leading the field to the green flag for the 5th time this season. But only once has this race been won from the pole. 150 laps from Kentucky Speedway coming up. But first, let's get our pre-race ceremonies underway as we go trackside for tonight's invocation and national anthem.
Want to get this party started? Let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the remainder of our program. Presenting our nation's colors, please welcome the members of the Kentucky National Guard. And unfurling the American flag will be members of the Tri-State Boy Scout Group and the Kentucky National Guard, 2nd of the 75th Recruiting and Retention Battalion. Here to deliver our invocation today, Raceway Ministries Pastor John Roberts.
We pray together. Our dear Heavenly Father, as we prepare to enjoy this Kentucky 225, we just want to take this opportunity to give you the grace and the thanks for all that you do for us. We thank you for the freedom that we enjoy here in these great United States, and we want to pray for the men and women that protect that freedom. Father, we pray for a safe event here tonight. We pray for safety for the drivers, the crews, the fire safety team, the NASCAR officials, just everyone involved. Father, we pray when everything is said and done here this evening that you will receive all the honor and all the glory that you deserve. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Here to sing our national anthem, please welcome Cincinnati Gospel Group, Anointed Sons of God.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the
Drivers are climbing into their trucks. The crowd bundled up. A very cold evening here in Sparta, Kentucky. When we come back, the green flag will fly. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World and Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. By the 100% reinvented Ford Explorer Drive 1. By Just for Men Hair Color. Live Forward. And in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. Welcome back to Sparta, Kentucky and the Kentucky Speedway for tonight's race storylines. Let's go back to Krista Voda.
Thank you very much. Well, the Bluegrass State knows a thing or two about horsepower. Normally, it's the four-legged kind. You don't need a saddle tonight, but you will need to hold on to the reins. Here are some stories we are keeping our eye on. A wide-open field, no Cup stars, means these Truck Series Cowboys get the spotlight all to themselves. And speaking of Cowboys, we have a new one in the field. Ty Dillon making his Truck Series debut. So far, older brother Austin, though, has stolen that spotlight because he, right behind me, strapped into his truck, is on the pole. And we are going to have some fast speeds tonight because we have cold temperatures. 48 degrees right now, definitely the coldest night we have had yet this season. And we know our championship battle, guys, wide open. As we said, the top three drivers come into this race separated by just 7 points.
Thanks, Krista. You know, we raced at this racetrack earlier this year. It's the second time we've been to Kentucky Speedway. The last time, it was Kyle Busch who got up front. What's going to be different tonight?
First of all, Kyle Busch isn't here, so we're going to have a different winner. But, Rick, the only similarity that Kentucky Speedway has tonight to what it did in July is the location. These cooler temperatures has made the track a second faster. The setups are different. The results will definitely be different, Phil.
You know, it seemed like nobody wanted to win that race here in July. Austin Dillon was leading the race, and his hood flew off. Johnny Sauter couldn't leave pit road without breaking an axle. Matt Crafton had engine problems. It looked like Joey Coulter may get his first win. He had issues on the restart. Then Jason White was poised maybe for his first win, and he got beat on the restart. At the end of the day, the last man standing was Kyle Busch, and he is up in victory lane.
And since we do not have any Cup drivers in the field tonight, maybe we'll have a first-time winner in the Camping World Truck Series. Could it be a guy starting up near the front, or will we have another veteran go to victory lane? Well, it's time to fire the engines. Let's go for the command.
And here to give the command, the most famous words in motorsports, president of University of Northwestern Ohio, the Kentucky 225 Grand Marshal, Dr. Jeff Jarvis.
Drivers, start your engines.
Fire it up. Okay, bud, go ahead and fire it up here.
It's a good thing for the drivers. The engines have fired up. That will heat up the engines as well as the drivers. Adrenaline running very rampant. Welcome back. Trucks about to roll out onto the racetrack. They're all in line, getting ready for 150 laps, 225 miles at Kentucky Speedway. Last week we said it was the coldest race we had had all season. Well, we broke that record. 48 degrees. The temperature forecasted for this evening, 36 degrees. Check out the fans sitting around the campfires on the backstretch. Across the top of the screen will be the starting grid for tonight's race. Austin Dillon grabbing the pole once again, the 5th time this season. Ron Hornaday will start on his outside when the green flag flies. They'll make up row number 1. Want to take a look at the particulars of this racetrack and the Camping World track description race analysis.
You can see a mile and a half. We're going to go 150 laps. The 14-degree banking in the corners, that is so deceptive. You go running down into these corners at 180 some miles an hour, they look pretty flat, but somehow these dudes get them around there.
And Michael, there's a lot of bumps on both ends of the racetrack. As a matter of fact, some of the drivers say the bumps are worse now in 3 and 4 than they were when we were back here in July just 2 or 3 months ago.
We're going to stock them up side to side and tell them to go wide open for a few laps. That's what I like. That's fun.
Pit window approximately 52 to 58 laps. Again, this one going 150 laps. The trucks are rolling out onto the racetrack. Now we want to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers in our speed spotlight. We'll begin with Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. I certainly want to take a look at Brian Eichler tonight. He's a young driver who's making his 21st start in this series. He's finished 5th, 4th, and 3rd. Those numbers are very, very good. And when you look at other things he's done in his career, how about 7 wins in the K&N Pro Series divisions? But I have to tell you, he knows the pressure is on tonight, not only because Kyle Busch won here in the spring, but because this is a great race team, and he has Eric Phillips calling the shots for him tonight. I think there's a pretty good chance that the 18 will be a contender to give Brian Eichler his first ever victory in trucks tonight. Hermie?
Will Ray, the 17 truck of Timothy Peters in Red Horse Racing stand for everything that's right about Camping World Truck Series racing. This team has run the majority of the last couple seasons unsponsored and have continuously put a competitive truck and team on the racetrack. Well, that eventually led to sponsorship from Service Central. They are a contender every week. Timothy Peters is 4th in points. He qualified 13th tonight, but he has 3 career wins, looking for a career win number 4 and a surge to head back to the top of the point standings. Phil?
Hermie, let's shine a spotlight on 19-year-old Ty Dillon. Austin's younger brother has dominated the ARCA Racing Series this year, winning 7 out of the 17 races. He will win the championship just by starting the final 2 races. Guys, this is the first time the Dillons have raced together in NASCAR, but not the first time they've raced here in Kentucky. Back in 2006, you see that little quarter mile right there? Ty spun Austin out on the last lap of a Bandolero race here. Austin punched Ty after the race. Mom Tina had to get in the middle and separate them, and the boys didn't speak to each other all the way home. Let's hope tonight turns out a little bit better than that. Ty will start this race from the 15th spot, Mikey.
Sound like they're on good terms today. They're not going to be running into each other. Let's turn our speed spotlight toward the pride of Powhatan, Virginia, Jason White. Like me, Jason loves Kentucky. Last year, Jay was 4th here. And this past July, he had a shot to win. He was all over eventual winner Kyle Busch late in the going before falling to 5th. Jason told me he could taste the win that night, and that taste has made him hungry. Hungry for another shot at winning. Jason rolls off 19th in his gunbroker.com Chevy.
Well, Mikey, let's stay with Jason White because he'll be carrying one of our onboard cameras. We'll be able to see from his perspective what it's like going over 180 miles an hour around this racetrack. He will start 19th today.
We're also going to ride along with Johnny Sauter. Johnny had a great opportunity to win this race here last time. Broke an axle on pit road. Johnny will start this race from the 17th spot.
Let's hop on board with Matt Crafton, another cat who had a shot at winning this race in July. You can see Matt shaking things around. He's going to start from the back of the pack. They had to change an engine. We heard him talking after qualifying. He thinks it's going to blow up. They made the change. So it says he's starting 6th. He's actually starting last. This could be fun to watch, too.
It will be interesting. It'll also be a good perspective. Starting from the front with the Funai on board. That is driven by Austin Dillon. He starts on the pole again. It's his 12th career pole in the Camping World Truck Series. He will lead the field to the green flag tonight.
That shot right there makes me want to race. That's what it's all about right there. On the pole, he's got the good truck. The lights are on. It's ready. We're ready to go. That's a great feeling.
Well, how do you win at Kentucky Speedway, and how do you win in the Camping World Truck Series? We've got to find out what the recipe for success is. We'll go to our Walmart recipe for success, and we start with Ray.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, I think having a teammate could be a big factor in tonight's race, and that may be the recipe for success of getting a win. You know, the Truck Series is starting to look like Sprint Cup. Check out all these teams that have 3 entries tonight. How about Turner's, Thorsport, and KHI? But I also want to add RCR to that list. You know, officially, Ty Dillon in that 21 truck tonight is really driving a Kevin Harvick Incorporated entry, but not really. It's really a RCR entry. This is his team from the ARCA Series that's here supporting him. It's an RCR truck, and I think that RCR will be the team to beat tonight here in Kentucky. Hermie?
Well, Ray, if July, the race here in Kentucky, was any indication, not only do you have to be fast under green, you got to be good on restarts as well. We saw a lot of restarts in the last 15, 20 laps of the race here in July, and it had a tremendous effect on the outcome of that race. Add to the fact that it's a lot cooler here tonight. Restarts and the experience of how to get through the gears on a restart late in this race may be the difference of going to victory lane or going to the truck.
Thanks, Hermie. Again, Austin Dillon and Ron Hornaday making up row number 1. Always at the start of these races, you think about, okay, turn 1. How are they going to decide who's going to be where when they get into turn number 1, especially on a really
cold night like this when the tires don't have a lot of heat in them yet.
Yeah, the tires aren't up to operating temperature, obviously. This track is rough. You talked about in the opening, Phil. These guys are going to be bunched together side by side and nose to tail for the first time all weekend. So this is going to be a different feeling for these cats. In the first lap or two, it always makes me nervous because I know how loose these things can be and how difficult they can be to drive on the start.
And they're going to try to do it wide open. But look here now. Look at these guys all looking for win number 1. No Kevin Harvick in the field, no Kyle Busch in the field.
And look, young guns.
You add all them together and they're about my age. That's what I love about the truck series, this youth movement. And this weekend, Ty Dillon joins in, another young guy with a shot at running up front.
I think NASCAR might have heard us talking about cold tires and what it's going to look like getting into turn number 1. They've said, let's go one more time around before we give them the green flag. So they'll take another lap around the 1.5 miles before the green flag flies. But we do have a lot of youth in this series, and we added another one tonight with Ty Dillon, another young kid coming into this series, getting a chance to move up into the upper tier of NASCAR.
And how impressive have these young drivers been here. We've got a great dogfight for the point championship between Austin Dillon and James Buescher right now. Veteran Johnny Sauter certainly still in it as well, and Timothy Peters and Ron Hornaday you can't really count out. But you see right there Ty Dillon making his first ever start here. Such a great job this year in the ARCA Racing Series, and he's really excited about this race. Right. He told me he just wants to run all the laps. Wherever that finish happens, that's going to happen. He just wants to run all the laps and get that experience.
Yeah, I bet he told you that, but he's thinking, man, it'd be really cool to get a top 5 in my first ever truck race. And talking to his team and the guys down on pit road, they think maybe he's got a truck he can do just that with. So it'll be fun to watch and see how patient he is at the beginning and see if he can get with them at the end and run hard.
So we've got 6 races remaining. Our top 5 drivers in the point standing separated by 47 points, but that's not the only championship that's up for grabs. There's a driver's championship, there's a manufacturer's championship, an owner's championship. How about the Rookie of the Year championship also up for grabs?
Yeah, we've got a great point battle. Here's our top 4 right here. You know, you talk about the top 5 being the contention. Ron Hornaday right now is 47 points behind, but shoot, all the way back to 9th is only 68 points behind, only 21 points behind Ron Hornaday. This thing is wide open.
Look at those fresh faces and Johnny Sauter. He's the veteran in that group. Those young guys are have things under control at this moment.
Johnny looks pretty young too, I think, in that picture.
Does have a fresh face.
Fresh face, father of 2. Getting ready to get underway from Kentucky Speedway. The pace truck has made its way off the racetrack and onto pit road. That leaves the field in the hands of Austin Dillon. Coming into the tri-oval. Green flag in the air, we're underway.
Great start by Austin Dillon. They're going to get down to this corner. Ron Hornaday's right up against him. They want to run these things wide open through here.
And the shortest way around is the bottom. Ron took advantage of that line and gained a bit of an edge over Austin Dillon.
Austin's going to pull back around the outside with the momentum from the top. Maybe clear Ron. No, Ron drives her in there hard.
To the bottom of the racetrack goes Hornaday. They stay side by side. Up the racetrack goes Hornaday in front of Austin Dillon. Dillon crosses back over to the bottom side of the racetrack, and he'll lead lap number 1.
How about Brian Eichler making it 3 wide?
3 wide to lead lap 1? Wow.
Eichler way up high now as they enter turn number 1. Trying to take the lead away. Hornaday in the middle. Austin Dillon down on the bottom of the racetrack. Down the backstretch they go, still trying to decide who's going to lead this race. And problems for the 88. He is on pit road on lap 1.
Remember, we reported that he changed an engine.
Take it behind the wall. Take it behind the wall and change the gear. Okay? People get everything ready to change the gear.
Undoubtedly still has the vibration that he felt in qualifying. I know they changed the engine and the transmission. They feel like it's still in the drivetrain, so they're going to change the rear end gear.
Man, that's disappointing for Matt Crafton.
Brian Eichler out in front of the field now. It's Ron Hornaday giving chase. Austin Dillon's dropped back to 3rd, and we see Parker Kligerman on pit road right now.
I say that's so disappointing, Phil. All you want to do is a chance to race. Let me see what I've got. These guys aren't even getting that chance. Maybe it's just a tire for Kligerman. He can get back out there and get with it.
Parker had a great 7th place qualifying run. Just put right side tires on that truck. But remember, with the new rules, the double file restarts and the wave around, it's not a kiss of death for Parker right now.
But it is for Matt Crafton. He didn't even get his water good and hot, and he was on pit road. Oh, got one
trouble. Josh Richards into the outside wall.
The 51 of Josh Richards slams into the outside wall, brings out our first caution on lap number 4.
Looked like he was by himself. I didn't see any contact from any other trucks. That's going to be a great break for Parker Kligerman. More than likely, he will get an Aaron's Lucky Dog already. Just came back on the racetrack.
Bam, just like that.
Josh Richards was running in the 10th spot. Look at the damage to the back of that truck. Let's look at how it happened.
Oh, he's down a little bit on the inside of...
It's David Starr, I believe.
And he just hits those bumps, goes up the hill a little bit. Didn't want to get into David Starr. Cranked that thing to the left a little bit, Bill, and away it went.
The second he turned left, the back end came around.
Did you see that contact with that outside? Well, man, that thing flew up in the air.
Another shot. You see him get loose there underneath the David Starr. Really difficult and challenging with these trucks to be on the inside, dead side by side with somebody. It robs so much air off that rear spoiler.
Let's go inside of Johnny Sauter's truck and ride along with Johnny and see what he sees. You can see Richards just up ahead. He gets loose. Look at Johnny. Ooh, I'm going to hold it low.
Yeah, only out of the gas for a second. Gets right back in and knowing he needs to get by.
Yeah, once you know you're clear, you're better off getting in the gas to make sure nobody runs into you from behind.
So Josh Richards brings out our first caution. That takes place on lap number 4. It was 3 wide at the stripe, trying to figure out who was going to lead lap number 1. Tomorrow, NASCAR Race Day revs up in Dover. Jimmy Johnson joins us live, and Chasers beware. We'll look at how the Monster Mile can crush title hopes. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot from Dover tomorrow, 11 Eastern, live on Speed.
Oh, it's getting good up there in Dover, man. Chase is heating up. Jimmy Johnson's in a hole.
Yeah, and then passionate fans up there in the Northeast as well. Obviously all over the country, but the Northeastern fans really love that NASCAR race.
Don't you love going up that way?
Absolutely.
They're
Martin
cleaning
Truex Jr. on the pole at his home track. Be a big day on Speed tomorrow.
Cleaning up the racetrack, Parker Kligerman, the beneficiary of the Aaron's Lucky Dog, so he will be able to get a lap back. He came onto pit road early, and that is why he was needing his lap back, right?
And that's because they had a punctured right rear tire, and Kligerman said this thing just doesn't feel right. They pulled it down, threw some soap on it, and it was bubbling, so he was definitely losing air out of that tire. So very heads up move from the driver to make sure they didn't crash that truck, and then by getting a lucky dog, no harm, no foul.
Army? Yeah, Ray, I'm catching up with the 88 team back here in the truck. I did get a chance to speak to Matt Crafton before the crew got here, and basically from this point forward, it's going to be a process of elimination. We talked about a very bad vibration for this truck in qualifying. They changed the engine and the transmission. Well, they dropped the green flag. That did not fix the problem. So now they're changing the rear end gear and the drive shaft, trying to find out where in the drivetrain this vibration is coming from. But a tough break for Matt Crafton in the 88 team.
Coming in, Matt Crafton, top 10 in the point standings. Actually, he was up there in 6th, I believe, and has already lost 3 spots because he's off the track now. Reason for the caution, Josh Richards in the 51 slides up, slams into the outside wall.
It's Camping World's destination recreation.
Hey folks, here's a great new way to get around your favorite campground or at the racetrack. Listen to this. It's the Zappi 3 ProFlex scooter. And I'll tell you what, this thing is loaded with features. Of course, you got your basket to put your favorite things in from the grocery. It's got a light, got a little horn, and I'll tell you what, this thing rides great. I was standing up, but if you want to, you can ride it sitting down. You can remove the seat if you'd like. What's amazing is how compact this thing folds up. It's very easy for you to put into your trunk or in the back compartment of your RV. But I'll tell you what, when you want to go somewhere, this thing rides like a dream. It charges in about 3 to 4 hours on 110, and it's awesomely fast.
And NASCAR has said Ray cannot use that on pit road. But I'm sure it would be fun in the campgrounds area. Again, a lot of people camping along the backstretch and hanging out by campfires because the temperature has dropped below 50 degrees, and we're expecting it to get down into the 30s still this evening.
The warmest place right here in a racetrack is in those trucks.
And we're seeing the jet dryers clean off some of the speed sorb. That's because the 51 of Josh Richards had some fluid coming out of that truck.
It's pretty warm right there where those trucks are blowing that speedy dry off too.
So once they get the track cleaned, we will go back to green flag racing in the Kentucky 225. Welcome back to Sparta, Kentucky. Track cleanup still continuing. That's in turn 2 and on the backstretch. We remain under caution. We've completed 11 laps, 150 scheduled for this race. A huge day tomorrow on Speed. Speed Center NASCAR Edition kicks it off at 10:30 a.m. Then NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot at 11. Victory Lane follows the race, and Speed Center wraps it all up for the big day in Dover.
Love Victory Lane. You get to hear all the stories from the race, see the winner, be in Victory Lane with those guys. Man, Speed's got you covered tomorrow. Jason White's got some damage to the back of his truck there, Phil.
You wonder if somebody maybe, when that accident happened, maybe Jason jumped on the brakes and somebody ran in the back of him. But, you know, they're going to talk to the crew chief right after the race ends. They talk to the driver, the crew chief, a lot of times the owner. That's just a great show with JR and the boys.
If they were going to talk to the crew chief on that 23 truck, they might tell Jason, you got some damage, but this could be good damage. You know, we talk about side force on the truck.
More side
that
force.
Could add a little bit of side force to that 23 truck, Ray. I like the way it's bent.
Don't fix it. Don't fix it.
Don't fix it is exactly what they said on the radio, and they said put fuel in this thing. So mark it down on your calendar there that they just put fuel in on lap 11 here. We'll see if that plays any factor later on.
And you see the truck he's going by, the 29 of Parker Quickerman. I love that young man making that call. Early in the race, it's going to be loose. He could have confused that with just cold tires, but he said, I think I got a tire going down. Comes to pit road, gets an Aaron's Lucky Dog. He's in business.
And he also got topped off on P2 on lap number 11.
Matt Crafton coming back out on the track as the field making their way back to the flag stand. We're about to go back to racing. Brian Eichler, Ron Hornaday, 1 and 2. Green flag back in the air.
Hornaday's going to stay right in there. How about Nelson Piquet Jr. running up there right now, battling Austin Dillon for the 3rd spot.
Hornaday moved up the racetrack. Eichler had to go up a little higher. They go through the speed zorb that's been mostly blown off the racetrack, but it looks like a little dust still blowing as they came out of 2 and down the backstretch.
Hornaday makes the pass cleanly that time. Got ahead of Eichler, made a good corner. Heck, when he went by Austin Dillon, it looked like he just thought Austin wasn't there anymore. Crowded him up, but this time he grabs it with a great pass.
Yeah, I thought maybe Ron lost the front end there. I don't think that was intentional necessarily.
Top 3 separated themselves. Now Nelson Piquet Jr. up top. The fuel doctor number 60 of Cole Witt running in the 4th spot.
Austin Dillon looks to the inside of Eichler in a battle for 2nd. Looks like he's going to get him.
And clear.
And the Bass Pro Shops number 3 of Austin Dillon makes his way up to 2nd. Again, after starting on the pole at the beginning of this race.
Man, when you go down into turn 3 and you're on the inside of another truck and that spotter yells you're clear, that's the best sound you're going to hear. You know you don't have to battle with that guy side by side. Your truck will be loose. Austin completes that pass.
That truck right there was loose, Michael. That A truck of Nelson Piquet Jr. on the inside of Cole Witt. Same situation we saw with Josh Richards. Nelson realized that, slowed down, had to move up the racetrack and chase it.
How about James Busher in the 31? Here's another driver who hasn't been to victory lane, but looking strong early on in this race.
Along with Cole Witt, the dude that's running alongside of him.
We have 4 drivers right there, never have been to victory lane here, all running well up into the top 10.
All 4 of them could go to victory lane this year, too. I guarantee you one of the 4 of them will somewhere.
We've only got 6 races to go, but they are very strong week in and week out.
You know, one thing I like about Nelson Piquet Jr., who just took over that spot, he's not afraid to run up high. It takes a while for these guys to get used to running up high. Nelson Piquet Jr. has been able to do that right away.
Todd Bodine in the international number 5, that Valvoline number 5. Running back in the pack just a bit. He's another driver who needs to get to victory lane. He has a streak going. Ever since he's been running full-time in the Camping World Truck Series, he's gone to victory lane at least once. Well, this year with just 6 races to go, he has yet to find victory lane.
The lead right now is tightening up, or the battle for the lead. Austin Dillon has chased down Ron Hornaday. Austin was the fastest truck on the racetrack that time by about a 1/10 and a half.
He's getting a little bit of draft. You know, we talk about the speeds here, probably close to 180 miles an hour, maybe over 180 as they go down into turn 1 here. And those pickup trucks punch a big old hole in the air. So when you're running along 2nd, coming down the straightaway, your truck feels like it's got 50 more horsepower than normal because you're just pulling up behind another truck.
I was talking to Max Pappas right after qualifying, and he said exactly that same thing. He said it's amazing. He said the truck the sound changes. It feels almost like a speedway race when you get in a draft. As Austin Dillon moves to the inside.
A little bobble by Hornaday, and Austin Dillon looked to the inside. Hornaday had to chase that truck up the racetrack coming out of turn number 4. Dillon looked like he was going to take advantage of it, but Hornaday still strong out in front. And we're still seeing the sparks. They're running down to the bottom of the racetrack, but sparks still flying when they hit the track.
Yeah, Austin actually got on the apron, I think, a little bit with that left front tire. Looked like the splitter hit the racetrack.
You saw how low the left side of that truck was, Rick. He's got a good setup for his truck. The front end's way down. Oh, Ron's driving the heck out of his truck, isn't he? He's been sideways a couple laps here, but he's holding on to it and holding off Austin Dillon.
And again, the reason that Ron Hornaday is in the 2, the Hollywood Casino number 2, they're running for the Owners' Championship. They felt like Hornaday had a better chance of finishing in front of where Cale Gale was potentially going to run, as we've got a smoker coming out of that's Ryan Sieg in the 39. Little smoke coming out of that truck. I'm sure NASCAR will be taking a look to make sure there's no fluid coming out. But the Owners' Point Championship is still up for grabs. Kevin Harvick Incorporated wants it bad as the smoke continues to roll out of there, but that's the decision. Hornaday, right front goes down, and Sieg into the wall.
That's one of those situations when you've got into the outside wall already. There's no sense just prolonging the agony. Just go ahead and come to pit road, just like Parker Kligerman did. Take the lap penalty. You take the lap, and you're going to lose. But instead, he stays on the racetrack.
And it was costly too. Going down the back straightaway, the right front tire blew and into the wall he went. Let's watch him hit the wall the first time. Coming off turn 4, just gets high up into the marbles, the loose rubber, and into the outside wall.
You see the smoke right there. That's when the spotter says, okay, Ryan, come on, take that thing to pit road. You've got a tire rub. And this is the second one after that tire goes and deflates.
That was a major tire rub.
Yeah.
He clobbered the wall. You got to come to pit road after that.
So Ryan Sieg brings out caution number 2. We'll ride along with Jason White.
That's the first incident right there up ahead. You see Ryan get into the outside wall, racing with Parker Kligerman in the 29 Dodge.
Look at all that smoke. That's tire smoke. He should have just backed out of the throttle there and tried to find him a hole to get to the bottom, and certainly didn't need to be running that hard trying to prolong the obvious.
We've seen a lot of trucks make contact with the outside wall and able to continue, but with that much smoke, you know that's a recipe for disaster right there.
It was inevitable, and it ended up that way as he got into the wall as the right front tire goes down. So that brings out caution number 2 here at Kentucky Speedway. The first one coming out with Josh Richards spinning around through turn 2 and backing it into the wall. Great race up front. Hornaday and Austin Dillon have been battling. We've also seen Brian Eichler out front.
Cole Witt closing in on him, bringing Nelson Piquet Jr. along.
You know, we talk about the pit window being somewhere between 52, 58 laps. Well, that's after they get full of fuel. Remember, they qualified and had to pace laps on this load of fuel. They're halfway into that run.
On their way onto pit road, we go down to Herbie Sadler.
Well, Rick, Brian Eichler has reported to crew chief Eric Phillips that he is loose. They're coming in, no tires. They told him do not slide the tires coming to the pit stop. It'll be fuel only, wedge and track bar adjustment to tighten this truck up. Ray?
At the bottom of the screen, you see Cole Witt coming in that Fuel Doctor and Red Bull truck. He said his truck is great when it's in clean air, but a little bit tight when he gets up in traffic. Hornaday on the top, they're going to go fuel only. And on the right side of your screen, you see the Bass Pro Shop Chevy of Austin Dillon. Austin said he did not like the way his truck is coming off turn 4. It'll be a drag race. Nelson Piquet Jr. first off of pit road.
Wow, great stop by that team. Looked like everybody pretty much, Phil, with the exception of maybe Max Pappas, a couple other trucks. You can see another truck, Miguel Pluto's having some issues down on pit road, but most everybody's just gas only.
Watch this now when Ron Hornaday tries to leave pit road here. A lot of trucks. You see trucks driving around the 32 of Blake Feast. Now they're 3 wide. Austin's going to pull out of his pits.
Cole Witt saying, come on, guys, give me a swim lane here. They just took his run away from him.
A lot of people may be wondering, why wouldn't they change tires when they come onto pit road? There's a limited number of tires in the Camping World Truck Series, only 4 sets. They want to save them for the end. Monday night on the Hub, we'll recap the action from Dover, the Monster Mile. Find out whose championship hopes improved after taking on the Monster. NASCAR Race Up, Monday night at 6 Eastern, only on Speed.
Who is going to tame the Monster tomorrow?
I don't think he can.
Miles?
I don't think he can tame Miles.
That's a little bit of a mild name for a Monster.
Yeah, it is. Take a look at the hectic trip it was off of pit road.
See Brendan Gaughan there has to swerve to avoid the 23 of Jason White, who had to swerve to avoid the 21 of Ty Dillon.
Yeah, he was trying to get around Ty Dillon, and Brendan was in his way. And you can tell it's a reduced speed, but it's not reduced intensity. These guys try to get every inch they can on pit road. Look at there. Hornaday barely avoiding a truck coming into its pit.
21 of Ty Dillon stalls it as he was coming off of pit road.
These guys figure out how to race even where there's a speed limit, Phil.
Yeah, and you think about a caution flag being a break for these guys. It's not. You have to be on your game. You got to get to pit road, get off pit road, get ready for a restart here.
And that's exactly what's happening. Green flag back in the air. Nelson Piquet Jr. leads the field to the green flag.
What a great jump by Nelson. I like the way he did that. He got way away from Austin Dillon up the track. Austin couldn't hear his engine. He didn't really know what Piquet was doing up there, and he made it work too. Grabbed the lead.
Piquet Jr. out front. Austin Dillon dropping back once again. Hornaday moves up to second. James Busher third. Cole Witt in that fuel doctor number 60 up there battling for fourth.
See Austin Dillon on the inside of Cole Witt right now. Has his right front fender. Now he's going to pull in behind Cole Witt in the 60 truck.
2 and 3 wide behind them as they're battling for position in the top 10.
Talking to pretty much everybody down in the pits, and they made Austin Dillon the favorite to win this race. Austin bought into that, I'm sure. He's running in fifth spot thinking, I thought I was the favorite. Did they not tell these other guys?
Well, in the last race here, we noticed that restarts were the difference between winning and losing. And right now we're seeing the restart for Austin Dillon. He's not having good restarts, dropping back at the beginning.
Yeah, that wasn't a good restart. And James Bush did have a good restart that time, and he's parlayed that into a third-place run so far.
Johnny Sauter trying to find some space in here as he's right on the back bumper of that 62 of Brendan Gaughan, right behind Dakota Armstrong in the Ferrogas number 98.
Brendan's going to take that South Point Toyota to the top of the racetrack there, trying to get around the 98. Ooh, he got real high there up in that speedy dry left over from Josh Richards.
And Joey Coulter down below Brian Eichler trying to make that move. Brian slides up the track. I think Joey's going to get that spot.
Ooh, Brian was really loose, sideways sliding off the corner.
Nose to tail, Coulter, Brian Eichler, Timothy Peters in the 17 on the bottom, the 29 of Parker Kligerman.
Remember, Parker's already come to pit road, lost a lap with a flat tire, got the lucky dog, but he is on sync. Now, he did come in on lap 22 with all the rest of these guys, and now he's battling up in the top 10 and gets by Timothy Peters and Brian Eichler.
3 wide, and Parker Kligerman's able to move in front of Eichler and the 17 of Timothy Peters.
We talked about Cup owners being here. Richard Childress, Roger Penske. Roger's name's on the side of Parker Kligerman's truck. Supports that team quite a lot with Brad Keselowski, so I'm sure he's proud to see the moves this youngster's made early in the going. Calling a flat tire, getting a lap back, and now racing inside the top 10.
We talked about it only being a matter of time before a guy like Miguel Paludo or Nelson Piquet Jr. could win a race. Well, right now, Nelson Piquet Jr. out in front by almost 1.4 seconds as we watch a great battle for the 4th position.
Nelson Piquet Jr. has had speed this whole year. He's parlayed that into some great finishes, and I think it's just a matter of time as we see Cole Witt battle back on the outside before we see that 8 truck in victory lane.
I agree. There's a handful of guys that we just know a win is imminent. When will it come? Tonight's the best chance for them because they don't have a couple of cats that like to stink up the show a little bit when they show up here.
I think we've got about, 6 or 7 guys probably that we think could win their first race in any given moment. But guys, there's only 6 races to go in the season. They're all not going to do it, and we're going to throw Kyle Busch and probably Kevin Harvick in the mix here most of the rest of the races.
But we know they can be beat. We saw Austin Dillon do it at Chicagoland. He was able to get out there and beat Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick when they were in the field.
And here in July was a great race, a whole lot of fun. Kyle Busch did an amazing job late in the going, holding on to the lead and holding off his competition, but they were all over him. Bunch of trucks that could have outrun him that night if Kyle wasn't Kyle Busch, and he was exactly that on those last few restarts and put those guys away.
We were riding along with Matt Craft, and he has scored 10 laps down. At the start of this race, his first move was to go back onto pit road. The vibration's still there. After qualifying, they thought it was in the engine. They decided now it's not in the engine. They've changed a bunch of things on that truck, but he's back out on the track, but he is still 10 laps down to the lead.
Yeah, guys, remember that 33 truck? That is not Ron Hornaday. We've seen Ron Hornaday in that 33 truck for several years now at KHI, but they did a swap. He talked about it before. Ron's in the 2 truck right now running second. That's Cale Gale in the 33 truck. He's going to get to run this truck our next race as well at Las Vegas.
Out in front, Nelson Piquet Jr. has a 3-second lead over Hornaday. Then running third is James Busher. And Austin Dillon has taken that spot away. So third is Austin Dillon. James Busher up or down to the fourth spot. Cole Witt, and the field doctor number 60, running in the fifth position.
I think Austin Dillon is showing some of that muscle that we've known he's had this entire weekend.
You know, and I've been impressed with Austin Dillon all year long. He doesn't make many mistakes, if any at all. And that restart there, he didn't get a great restart, but he didn't panic. He just settled in, picking them off one at a time, and he knows he's got a truck he can win this race with, and he's being patient with it right now in the early going.
He was the second fastest truck on the racetrack that last lap with a pass.
Austin Dillon trying to make his way back up to the front.
We talk about how smart he is. He gets a lot of good coaching. Grandpa and Mike Dillon, all the folks on that team, they do a really good job of keeping Austin focused and in the game, and he certainly does his job behind the wheel.
Watch his head bounce around there. That's how rough this track is. And when we talk about this track being rough and being bumpy, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, I like it. It's fun. It gives people chances to do something different. Run a higher lane like we see Nelson Piquet doing. Talking about Austin Dillon behind the wheel. Look at that armful of wheel he's got. He's got his hand into it, but you can tell that's quite a ride he's taken.
He's chased down Ron Hornaday right now in that battle for second. Good battle for fifth right there. Joey Coulter close to the inside of Cole Witt, trying to take over that fifth spot.
Austin Dillon looking to the bottom of the racetrack now to see if he can get by Hornaday as the battle continues on the left side of your screen for the fifth position. Cole Witt, Joey Coulter.
Austin Dillon's probably thinking, Ron, I'll run you down here. Give me a break, buddy.
Austin pulled down to the inside, one lane down the backstretch, thinking, well, maybe Ron will lose me in his blind spot. But Ron Hornaday is going to take the line he needs to take into the corner. He knew Austin wasn't there.
Austin just says, well, there's another way to do this, Ron.
Ran a little bit higher, entering turn number one. He crosses over down the backstretch, trying to get that momentum. Able to get by Hornaday. Still Hornaday running down toward the bottom of the racetrack. Shortest way around.
These guys are still running these laps faster than the pole back in July. Not quite as fast as we qualified today, but right now the top truck, fastest truck was Nelson Piquet Jr. about 0.2 of a second faster than the pole in July.
Great run by Austin Dillon, looking to the inside now, trying to take second away from Hornaday.
I believe he's got him now, Mikey.
Yeah, Ron's going to let him have the entrance into turn 3, and Austin will set a trail, cut a trail for Nelson Piquet Jr. Nelson's driven away to almost a 4-second lead, Phil, running some really fast times out in front by himself. You can see the distance there, lap truck between Piquet and Dillon, but got a nice lead.
Sure does. Austin that time, while he was passing Ron Hornaday, again the fastest truck on the racetrack.
Nelson Piquet has now led more laps tonight than he had led in his previous 24 starts. Nelson Piquet Jr. leading in Kentucky. Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. Caution has come out. Blake Greenfield cut a tire, got into the wall, and because of that, the field has made its way onto pit road. Looks like we're having some more problems on pit road. I believe that is Ty Dillon once again.
He's got her fired off now, though. Last time exiting his pit stop, it looked like he choked the motor out then, and same thing happens this time.
Let's find out what happened on pit road. We go down to Hermie.
Well, James Busher had made his way up to the fourth position. He came to pit road. He's got a little bit of a balance issue. He's free on entry to the center of the corner. Then he is tight center out. So several adjustments. He took 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, pulled a spring rubber out of the left rear, and also added some wedge on the 31. Ray?
Hermie, down on my end, I saw quite a few trucks going with right side tires only at the very front of the field. In the first pit stall, I should say, Austin Dillon came in second. They went with 4 tires, half a pound out of the right front. Austin saying he's still just a little bit too tight. And for the 2, they went right side tires. So a couple different strategies going on down here at our first round of pit stops on lap 43.
Yeah, you see the 68 of Clay Greenfield coming off of the racetrack and going behind the wall. The damage to the left rear, that was after the tire going down.
You can see the right rear soft on that truck. In fact, it's tore all to pieces. Looked like maybe going down into turn 3, he lost that right rear tire and spun him around.
A lot of damage to the back end of that 68 truck, so he is taking it back to the garage area.
A few trucks in the garage area. Clay Greenfield, the most recent. Jones, Garvey, Ryan Sieg, Josh Richards, Mike Harmon, Brent Raymer, all on pit road, all in the garage area now.
There's your Aaron's lucky dog. I don't like calling Jennifer Jo a dog because she's sweet.
She ended up making it into the field. One of the trucks withdrew during the qualifying process, and so she was able to get into the field, and that's why she is on pit road now, having service done to that truck. Bundled up crowd here in Sparta, Kentucky. The temperature continues to go down. The heat on the track continues to go up. Welcome back. Under the lights, racing for the Camping World Truck Series. It's the Kentucky 225. This is the 20th race of the 2011 season. For 25 races, Todd Bodine making his way back onto pit road. We've seen him on pit road quite a few times.
Yeah, Todd's made a number of pit stops. I'm sure they're working on that truck. Mike Hillman Jr. is not afraid to make some pretty significant changes on a pit stop. They'll move the rear end around. They'll adjust shocks, adjust camber.
Heck, they changed the aero of it at Chicago, changing around some of the aero pieces that NASCAR allows you to work with. So like you said, we'll try anything. If the truck's not right, we got to fix it, especially early in the going. Ray, what have they addressed down there?
Well, they changed the right front shock adjustment, and they pulled a spring rubber, and they also did a wedge adjustment. So Todd not very happy with his Valvoline Toyota. He said it just does not come off the corner at all. So lots of adjustments so far for Team 5.
Todd Bodine running in the 26th spot as the field makes its way back toward the stripe, and the green flag goes back in the air. Timothy Peters, Cole Witt 1 and 2 as they cross the stripe. Peters on the outside, Cole Witt on the inside.
How about Justin Lofton? There's going to try to go through the middle for a minute, and then the hole closed up.
Timothy Peters trying to go down to the bottom of the racetrack to get the advantage over Cole Witt, but that Fuel Doctor number 60 is moving out to the front as they go down the backstretch. Here comes Peters, and now Ron Hornaday, an aggressive move to the bottom of the racetrack.
Wisely backed off there a little bit. He wasn't sure what Cole Witt was going to do when he got down to the corner.
And Cole Witt wasn't sure what Ron was going to do. There was a lot of second guessing going on there.
The entire lap, 1.5 miles. Those two stayed side by side. Cole Witt got the nod as they cross the stripe. But how about Hornaday making the move on the inside? Takes a position away from Witt. Now they're side by side with Timothy Peters. Peters out in front of the field now.
And they're 3 wide behind them with Austin Dillon looking down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Austin looks underneath the Ford truck of Ricky Carmichael, trying to get that spot. Here goes Piquet to the outside of Ricky Carmichael.
We talked about how he likes to go high. He wasn't shy about going there then, was he?
It's Timothy Peters, Ron Hornaday, Cole Witt, Justin Lofton, Miguel Paluto, Austin Dillon, Nelson Piquet Jr., James Buescher, Ricky Carmichael, and Parker Kligerman, your top 10.
Yeah, Kligerman's already got by the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. Now he's going after the 8 of Nelson Piquet, already dispatched to Buescher in the 31.
Side by side, Miguel Paluto down to the bottom of the racetrack, going by Justin Lofton.
Justin got a little bit loose there, had to get out of the throttle. That allowed Paluto to get by. Now Austin Dillon's going to try to get by them both.
3 wide as they cross the stripe. Here comes Justin Lofton once again.
Lofton's aggressive, man. That was a strong. He tried to go between the leaders when they took the restart, and that time he went down the middle of Dillon and Paluto.
Third of the race in the books as we get to lap 50 of this 150 lap race.
So important for Austin Dillon, Michael. You mentioned before. Oh, there it goes.
Around goes Miguel Paluto, catches the 29 of Parker Kligerman, both of them into the wall.
Paluto got a little bit loose on the inside of another. Oh, Max Pappas.
Pappas trying to go between the 29 and the 7. Contact is made. We see Todd Bodine trying to avoid that 9 of Pappas.
Sorry, guys, got loose up there.
Man, hearing me, that's Paluto right there. Says, sorry, guys, I got loose down there. Really took out that 29 truck of Parker Kligerman. Horrible break for Parker. And then Max came along with a racetrack blocked and made contact with Parker.
Parker's going to climb out of that 29 truck. Not only did he get caught up against the wall, but Max Pappas made contact once again. Even after the caution came out, he was trying to duck in between the 2 trucks.
Big old wide racetrack. You'd like to think that guys can figure it out, but sometimes you're running, 150, 60 miles an hour in a turn and try to go in another direction. It just doesn't happen that easily, Phil.
Yeah, and you're already doing all you can do. You're wide open. You're 10/10 at that moment, and it's so hard to change directions.
See the damage to the right side of that truck.
I believe it's
the right rear tires down as well.
Bud. Go on the garage here.
Yeah, it's pulled the rear end housing back on that 9 truck. I believe they're going to have to go to the garage. Here it is right here, Miguel Paludo on the inside of Justin Lofton.
Watch him start wobbling as soon as he enters the corner, Phil, and he just tries to stay off Lofton, and unfortunately for Kligerman, he wasn't able to keep control of his truck.
Yeah, nice save by Justin Lofton. Keep watching this now. Max Pappas is going to come along here. He was trying to go between him, and Parker was coming down the racetrack a little bit. Looked like he had a lot of speed there.
Yeah, but he wasn't going a lot faster than all the trucks around him. Like we said, you dive down in the corner, you were wide open committing to the corner, and it's just hard to get low down that quickly. And Max wasn't going any faster than the rest of the guys, but he just didn't have anywhere to go.
Miguel Paludo, Justin Lofton, they're battling for the 7th spot when that happened.
Yeah, tough break. We've seen it so many times. We saw it early with Josh Richards. Miguel on the bottom, another truck. Lost the back end when he got down to the corner. Had to chase it up the hill. Made contact with Parker. Here goes Max. It looked like if Parker's truck would have stayed up there, Max would have had room. But unfortunately, didn't happen.
You could see just behind Max, there's Joey Coulter doing an amazing job of getting that truck whipped to the high side. And then Tom Bodine, he almost hits Max Pappas, and they were basically stopped at that point.
It looked like Joey, as you see the contact right there between Paludo and Kligerman. It looks like Joey Coulter and Max were running the exact same speed, but unfortunately for Max, he got there first.
Watch the job Joey does.
And Todd to avoid Max.
Crafton's ride, he has a little bit of a crazy ride down here on the apron.
You heard Matt Crafton grab third gear down there, downshifted as he was trying to get by those trucks.
And Matt Crafton's thinking, there's a few more spots that I'm going to get. This race didn't start out well for Matt at all, but you know, these race car drivers, it's all about them. And at that moment, Matt's thinking, okay, there's a couple more spots.
Disappointing for Parker Kligerman. He's had some great finishes in the Truck Series this year. As a matter of fact, his career best finish came right here at this racetrack last time we were here in July, where he finished second.
Yeah, he had a couple second place finishes back to back earlier this year, but looked like he had a great truck. He overcame the flat tire he had early on, got back on the lead lap, and was racing up in the top 10, but it's going to be a short night for him.
Yeah, Miguel Paludo out of his truck. They're continuing to work on that behind the wall. The 66.
Ross Chastain, that's Mellon 1.
Mellon 1.
Mellon 1.
It's going to be right side of your screen on the bottom of the racetrack right there underneath Max. You see him get loose.
Look at this hole it looks like he's headed for.
Ty Dillon recognizes that, backs off. You see the difference between Johnny Sauter in the 13 truck and Ty in the 21. Ty saw that. Watch Johnny now. Johnny sees him get loose. He's just going to turn left and match the gas down.
That's the same thing that just happened to Miguel Paludo, but he didn't have a truck beside him, so he had some room to wander up. Those guys did a really good job of recognizing that the youngster was in trouble, gave him a lot of room, no crash.
Ross Chastain, his first ever start in the Camping World Truck Series. He finished 10th at Lucas Oil Raceway earlier this year. Again, the caution comes out here in Kentucky. Stay with us. Still under caution, Ty Dillon running in the 14th spot of this race, his first ever start in the Camping World Truck Series. And leading up to this, we want to find out a little bit about how brothers prepare for getting ready to race against each other on the racetrack. We followed him.
I'm really excited. I've been looking for this moment for a long time. I feel like we've been planning it all year. To make my first start this weekend, it's going to be a special moment for us. Me and my brother are going to get to race against each other again, and just looking forward to having a lot of fun.
All right, I'm ready to go.
We're best friends. We get to hang out on the weekends, and when we're not at the track, we're hanging out most of the time. And I think racing has brought us closer together as brothers. I think me and Austin have a really awesome relationship. We're best friends and brothers. You know, when you have somebody that's that close to you doing the same thing that you love, it's you both want to go out there and beat each other. It's a brotherly thing, but you also want to see each other do well. We're very competitive. It doesn't matter what kind of sport it is, baseball, basketball, anything. Video games, we're very competitive. We'll race in anything. If it's racing a foot race to the car, if it's first one to make Easy Mac or something. I don't know, it can be anything with us. We're so competitive. Oh. Yeah. Up, injury on the field, flag, legal use in the hands. That's how we play here. Can't beat them, poke them in the eye. First person to 3 completions wins. Go.
That's cool. Put it in his hands and he drops it. Fumble. Did you see that? I got a bad eye and he just misses it. It's worthless. Stick to racing. I think we all push each other so hard because we know what we're capable of doing. It's good for a competitive spirit, I guess. We always try and have a competition, see who gets more wins in a year and does better. We just want to see each other do well, and we try and push each other as much as we can. He's got more than I do right now in the ARCA series, so he's been rubbing it in all season. But, you know, it's fun competition. It makes us push each other.
So who's the better driver?
Me.
Who's the better driver?
Me, of course. I pretty much take credit for all of it. I've taught him almost too much because he's gotten good. No, I'm just messing. I don't know. He's taught himself a lot. He don't need much help. If you let him see the track for one time, maybe show him the line, that's about it, and he gets on it quick. He's a really fast learner. He's helped a lot, and some of the help that he's given me, he hasn't even said anything. You know, just being able to watch my brother and go through and do the things that he's done so far, it's knocked a lot of time off my learning curve, I believe. So I'll definitely be using him a lot this weekend.
I feel like I figured out kind of the line there. I just need to get a little more comfortable being full throttle like that. Need to talk to Austin, see what he's doing.
I'm feeling a lot better than we did in the first practice. I had a lot to learn. We didn't really even have to change much on the truck. Just had to make a lot of driver adjustments, get used to these trucks. Had to use my brother and enjoy a lot today. And it paid off really well. And the second practice we were really fast, and I still think we have some more speed to show. When you get into it, you got to learn how do these things drive, and he had a big learning curve as the day went on. In the second practice, he was there, so he learned a lot. He's feeling good about it. I feel like he's still got a lot to learn, and he's doing a good job. That's one of the main things. I just had to work on my confidence and get as familiar as I could with these trucks, but I'm having a lot of fun. Getting a race against him is it's going to be fun. I don't know what it's like that much. He's only running dirt races with him, and we've had great races so far. It's special both in the NASCAR race together. We haven't done that yet, so it's gonna be really cool to be out there with Austin. It's gonna be a really special moment for my family.
Brothers on the racetrack. Well, that's nothing new for this booth. I got a couple of guys. You guys, both the brothers on the racetrack.
You know, but I just love Austin's heart. Did you hear him during practice? He said, that's what I did. It helped me. Somebody tell Ty that. That's so cool that he's competing. He's racing for a championship, but you can tell how much he loves his little brother.
How about proud grandfather, Richard Childress, there watching on top of one of the haulers.
That's Will Lind he's speaking with.
Parker Kligerman involved in the most recent accident. He's out of his truck and with Hermie.
Yeah, real quick, Parker Kligerman, you had a fast truck, overcame a lap down to get back up there, and you were telling me last restart 20th to 5th in no time. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, you know, we had an awesome truck, and obviously we had the tire go down at the start. So we went a lap down, got lucky, got a lap back, drove all the way through the field once, had a bad pit stop, came all the way back through again, and we must have passed, I kid you not, it had to be 15 trucks, and 15 to 20 trucks. And there's no doubt in my mind that give us 2-3 laps, we were going to be leading that race. And just had a couple guys in front of us racing so close, was using the outside, and you just lost it, you know. And obviously I made that mistake, so I'm not going to get on about it. It's hard racing. It's just, it's lap 50, you know. There's 100 laps to go. What are we doing here? Why are you taking strategies to put you up there and such? But, you know, it's racing. We had a great Penske truck on Ram, and we're going to be back better than ever next week, and we'll give him hell.
That's Parker Kligerman. He's out tonight.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 88. He's going to need quite a few more of those, though, because he was behind the wall for about 10 laps.
But we're cutting into it now.
Yeah, he was 11 laps down. Now he's 9. He's gained 2 of them back.
So Matt Crafton gets the Aaron's lucky dog. He's giving a lap back.
He just needs 9 quick cautions here. We'll get right back in this thing.
Timothy Peters, Ron Hornaday leading the field back to the green flag. It goes in the air. Timothy Peters with another good restart.
Yeah, but Ron hung right there on that quarter panel, Phil, and got a drag off of him, a draft off of Peters, and he's going to take the lead, and they're 3 wide behind him.
Cole Whitrow was in the middle of a 3-wide situation with Justin Lofton, Austin Dillon. Now it's settles down, and they're 3 wide again.
Where did it settle down? I was looking for that point where it settled down.
14 truck lengths it settled down.
Way out in front, Ron Hornaday rocketing to the front as he comes out of turn number 4. The fuel doctor, number 60 of Cole Whitt, moves up into the 2nd spot.
You think these guys don't know that Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch aren't out there with them? Everybody wants to win this race. They're going 3 wide. They're taking chances. They know that this is their night to shine. And, man, these drivers are taking advantage of it. This is fun to watch.
2 and 3 wide still, working their way around this 1.5-mile racetrack. Side by side, Jason White on the inside and Ricky Carmichael in that Monster Energy number 4 on the outside.
There's Ty Dillon, the 21 in his debut, right behind Jason White. Ross Chastain, there he is right there. Mellon 1 on the outside, side by side with Ty. A little bit of momentum, a little bit of drafting help from Johnny Sauter. Pushes him ahead of Ty Dillon.
We saw that Mellon 1 truck sideways down in the middle of 3 and 4, so he's got his hands full, but he's going to town with it.
How about Nelson Piquet Jr. drives by Timothy Peters, and in the meantime, Austin Dillon does the same thing and trying to get by Piquet.
Nelson Piquet on the high side. He's been running up there and been able to keep the momentum up as he pulls in front of that 3 coming out of turn number 4. Hornaday, Cole Witt, Timothy Peters, Nelson Piquet Jr., Austin Dillon. Peters has dropped back to the 5th spot. Justin Lofton 6, David Starr, Brian Eichler, James Busher, and Brendan Gaughan, your top 10.
You know, it's amazing. Ron Hornaday jumps into it with a new team. Essentially, it's KHI, but it's a group of people that he hasn't worked with, Bruce Cook and all his guys. And man, does it look like it's rejuvenated him.
He likes it. I mean, we've watched Ron. He won Atlanta. He might have won Atlanta at the slowest speed ever coming to the checker.
That's right.
That wasn't under caution. He made his way to the checker because of some fuel mileage strategy. Great job by that team. Great job by Ron getting win number 49. But this is speed we haven't seen out of him lately, and I love it.
Hornaday way out in front now, has a second lead over Cole Witt running second. Nelson Piquet Jr. in third. Austin Dillon and Timothy Peters, your top 5.
I believe I'd call Ron and say the heat's coming, buddy. PK and Austin Dillon look like have the 2 fastest trucks here tonight, along with Ron Hornaday, so they're going to go join him.
But in all the restarts, we've seen Austin Dillon struggle to get up to speed and stay as fast as he was when he qualified at a new track record. But after he gets a few laps into that truck and into a run, we see him move up and really strong. So it looks like he's got his truck set up maybe for a little longer run.
Yeah, and I love what Phil said about PK. He's able to run the high line. We see guys come in here, they just nick at that bottom. They dive for the bottom, the bottom, the bottom. Not Nelson. He just goes where they ain't. He gets down to the turn. If they want to go low, he'll take them high.
Got a couple of runs at Cole Witt on the outside. Now he's going to move to the inside. See what he can do down in 1 and 2 with Cole Witt. See that truck hugging the yellow line there. Now he gets a little bit free down on the bottom. Has to check up a little bit. That's going to hurt his momentum a little. Going to give Austin possibly a run at him.
Riding along with Austin Dillon. That vantage point. You see Nelson Piquet Jr. making the move back up to the high side of the racetrack.
Austin's going to try to pull to the inside. Now he's going to duck in behind Piquet. Good battle here. 3-way battle for second. Meanwhile, Hornaday has opened up about a second-half lead over second place. Here goes Piquet again to the inside.
Didn't work last time, doesn't work this time. Cole Witt still running in the middle of the track, able to pull out in front of these guys.
He got loose again. Michael had to back off, move up the racetrack. That opened the door for Austin to see if he can take this Thursday. We've got a trouble in turn 4 right in front of the leaders here.
And coming back down across the racetrack, making his way onto pit road. Looks like the 07 potentially.
John King in the 07.
So John King makes his way onto pit road. The caution comes out once again.
A little bit of damage to the right front of that truck.
Closing in on the halfway point. 150 laps scheduled for this one. 84 remaining. It's Ron Hornaday out in front of the field. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Evan Williams. Smooth bourbon priced right. Spread the word. By Sta-Bil Fuel Stabilizer. When you store, start with Sta-Bil. And in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. While we were away, pit stops taking place. Let's go to pit road. Ray Dunlap.
Well, about a third of the way through the fuel run there, Rick, so everyone just afraid to stay out. They felt like they needed to come in to get gas. That's what Ron Hornaday did. They did fuel only, and up at the very front of the field on pit road here, we saw a little bit of a track bar change for the number 3 of Dillon. They went up a half a round. He's still just a little bit tight in traffic. Hermie?
Well, Ray, differing pit strategies on this end of pit road. The 17 truck of Timothy Peters came to pit road. Butch Hilton, his crew chief, ordered 4 tires and a track bar adjustment. His truck's been a little bit on the free side. Also, we've been talking about James Busher. He gave up a top 5 starting position. He came to pit road. He needs track position, so they went fuel only this time on the 31 of James Busher to try to get a little bit of track position. His truck is just way too tight back in traffic.
Guys, we already had an incident on pit road during that caution flag. You see the 22 of Joey Coulter. You see all the damage to the right front corner. Blake Feast was coming in his pit as Joey was leaving his pit. Watch this now. Towards the middle of your screen. Watch, Joey's going to pull out. Blake Feast is pulling in. Make pretty significant contact. Turns Blake Feast around. Does a lot of damage, Michael, to that 22 truck.
Yeah, and that's not on Joey Coulter right there. That's on the crew chief saying, just sit still. We got one coming in. Evidently, he didn't realize that Feast was pitted right there. And so, therefore, when he turned in, it caught him off by surprise. And it looked a little bit like Blake was lost. He didn't really know where he belonged, so I'm sure that confused the crew.
I think he was going to come in, started to turn in, then Ron Hornaday left his pit, so that left him out there, and it looked probably Harold Holly, crew chief of Joey Coulter, didn't realize that maybe that he was going to turn in that soon.
Matt Crafton grabs another Aaron's Lucky Dog. 8 more to go, and we're getting right back in this thing with Matt Crafton. So a bunch of Lucky Dogs early. He got a wave around. He was, what was he, down 11 laps when he returned to the track? So
got 3 of them back.
Now, not everyone came to pit road. You'll see out in front of this field the 13 of Johnny Sauter, Ty Dillon, and Dakota Armstrong. They all stayed out. They were running 14th, 15th, and 17th when the caution came out. So they stay out. Different pit strategy for them.
What about Ty Dillon? He needs to sniff what the lead smells like. See if he can hold on up front.
Good experience for him, too. That's another part of the learning process. Be up here front here with somebody like Johnny Sauter and see what he can do here up at the front of the field.
What do you think Pop-Pop's thinking right now? It's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking. First start, sitting on the front row here for this restart.
Johnny Sauter chooses the inside line. Ty Dillon will restart on the outside as we're coming up on lap 71. Green flag back in the air. Johnny Sauter, Ty Dillon, Dakota Armstrong, Nelson Piquet Jr. across the stripe.
This is a fun race. All these different names lining up at the front here midway through the race. No clear-cut winner. We've seen a lot of guys drive off with the lead. Action galore. Spins, crashes. It's got it all so far.
We've seen some fast trucks. The 8 of Piquet's been really fast. Hornaday's been fast in the 2. Austin's been really fast in the 3. Look at Piquet go to the outside.
Nelson Piquet Jr. has in the number 8 as he goes high on the racetrack.
Thought he was going to run out of room up there.
Johnny Sauter out front. Nelson Piquet Jr. trying to take second away, but here comes Ty Dillon back again. 3 and 4 wide as they go into turn number 1.
Look at Cole Witt all the way up where we haven't seen anybody running tonight.
He said if Nelson Piquet can do it, I can do it.
Nelson Piquet all over the back bumper of that 13 of Johnny Sauter trying to take the lead away. A good run on the high side as they go through 3 and 4. Nelson Piquet Jr. out in front here in Kentucky.
I'm going to tell you that 8 truck is fast, and Nelson Piquet Jr. is driving the wheels off that truck.
Back behind him, 2 and 3 wide, battling for position. Still on the lead lap, we've got 23 trucks. Norm Benning still on the lead lap in 23rd.
Good run for Norm. Got a top 25 at Loudon. Gave a thumbs up before the race started. Now inside the top 25 again this week.
Justin Lofton trying to catch that 6 truck. Got a little bit loose on the bottom of the racetrack.
He slides up the hill. James Busher in the 31 gets underneath him.
Trying to get really high up in turn 3 and 4 and get into the wall. That was Mellon 1. Ross Chastain scraped the wall exiting turn 4.
And problems for that 07 once again. So John King coming back off the racetrack on pit road. We stay green.
Something may be wrong with that truck. He caused our most recent caution.
You can see the damage to the right front corner of that truck all bent in there.
Brian Eichler goes around the 81 truck of David Starr. Eichler in the Kyle Busch truck, number 18.
That's a battle for the 10th spot.
Piquet Jr., Johnny Sauter running 1 and 2. Piquet Jr. has a 1-second lead over Johnny Sauter. And it's Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon running 3rd and 4th right now. Brothers.
Did you see that David Starr truck? That's a normal lap. We talked about how rough this place is. Those trucks bob and weave all through the corners. That's what these guys are facing. Whether you're leading, we saw Hornaday out front moving around like that. Doesn't matter where you're running, that's what your truck's going to feel like.
It looked like the truck in front of him, Brian Eichler, both of those trucks were bottoming out, it looked like, on those bumps.
Side by side for position. Timothy Peters on the inside.
Jason White. He's in 12. Peters wants it 13. Not able to complete the pass down on the bottom. Jason makes a nice run through 1 and 2 on the outside. There's the brothers together for the first time tonight.
How about that? Austin, the fastest truck on the racetrack this last lap at a 30.50.
running in the 4th spot behind his brother Ty Dillon.
My first race that I ran in NASCAR with my brother on the track, I saw him a lot that day when he was lapping me. I didn't have any, I wasn't competitive like Ty is. This is cool to see this young man getting his shot and making the most of it. Running inside the top 5 here.
Clear. All clear. Good job,
a little pit strategy early on in this race as we cross the halfway point. Ty Dillon, Johnny Sauter, and Dakota Armstrong, they stayed out. Dakota has fallen back to the 9th spot now. PK Jr. out in front. Sauter still holding on to 2nd.
And remember, differing strategies for these Dillons. We know Austin wants to get up there. Our point leader coming into this race wants to win this race. Ty just wants to get the experience, run all the laps, as we see Austin turn underneath Johnny Sauter in a battle for 2nd.
You know, we talked earlier, I've seen it every restart. Austin hasn't taken any chances. When they say go, if they want to go 3 wide, he backs out of those situations. He knows he's got a truck he can win with. But as the laps wind down, he can't afford to give up those spots. He's going to have to keep it right on the front, right up front to run with PK Jr. He's got a real fast truck, too.
So PK Jr. had about a 2.2 second lead over Austin Dillon, who's taken over the 2nd spot now. And around goes Ross Chastain in the 66. No caution as of yet. Still trying to get up to speed. He's right in front of the grandstands. Can he get it fired?
Out. He's up here.
No, the caution will come out as Nelson PK Jr. will go by almost at speed down at the bottom of the racetrack as the 66 is up high.
Ross, I said earlier, he scrubbed the wall down in turn 3 and 4. He's gotten sideways a couple, 3 times. Looked like that time it got away from him, obviously.
Your left front tire is flat on that truck.
That's kind of strange. Looking what?
Yeah, is the left rear tire down on that truck? No, it's not down. So. Left front just blew out.
Yeah, I think he had some damage to the right rear. Maybe got into the outside wall.
You see him all by himself there. Got a little bit loose.
Oh, yep, there you go.
Overcorrected, chased it again.
He's been loose a lot, yeah. Phil.
He tagged the
wall.
He
makes a little bit of contact with the outside wall right there, but could have been a lot worse.
Talking to him before the race started tonight, said he never raced anywhere where he didn't use his brakes, trying to get used to it.
6th caution comes out. This time it's Ross Chastain. Wednesday night, the car show with Adam Carolla is all new, and it can't miss as Adam and crew take a trip down memory lane in some good old muscle, and then take a look at the modern cars that bring the good old days back to life. It's the car show Wednesday night, 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
You see that Superbird there?
I did.
If there was ever built a car built for racing, it was those Dodge Daytonas and Superbirds.
Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. A few guys made their way onto pit road. We've seen Todd Bodine on pit road numerous times. Let's get an update. We go down to Ray.
Well, let's start with Ron Hornaday. His Hollywood Casino Chevrolet was very, very loose, so Hornaday said we need to make a big adjustment. So as they came in to do that, Bruce Cook at the last second said, let's go with tires, guys. They did their 4 tires, and also Todd Bodine went with 4 tires down here. Now, that was lap 80. We know they can't go the whole distance here without pitting one more time for fuel, but this may be a strategy move for both of these teams by getting their 4 tires now. Later, they've got options.
Well, Ray, the options are when they come down pit road, they just put fuel in. It's going to be a faster pit stop once they get in their fuel window, and maybe they catch a caution flag.
I like options, don't you?
Absolutely.
I tell you, one of the options I think is going away is the option of staying warm. It was 52 degrees when we started this race. Now it's down to 43 degrees. It is getting cold here. I shouldn't say getting. It was cold. It's getting colder.
It was cold when we started the day, and it's stayed cold.
Herbie, what's happening with Johnny Sauter?
Well, he stayed on the racetrack even though he did not pit the last time as well. And his crew chief, Joe Shear, is telling him, obviously, to save some fuel. Now, Johnny Sauter is not happy with his truck. He made the comment on the radio right when the caution came out that this is the most ill-balanced truck we've had all year. Now, we know Johnny Sauter can be a little bit demonstrative on the radio, so Joe Shear is trying to tell Johnny, hey, we're not running that bad. We're one adjustment away from having a chance to run up front, but right now they're in save fuel mode is Johnny Sauter.
Now, he might be saving fuel. He can't make it to the end, but they're saving fuel to potentially make it on one more stop.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter last pitted on lap number 55. That would give him 95 laps to go. He's going to get a few caution flags, so I think he's easily in the window of making it on one more stop.
but he just wanted to grab some track position, get that thing up front, and see if Joe Shear's right. One adjustment away. If he's up front now, he makes that adjustment, and he can hold his ground now. Maybe he does have a shot to win this race.
Norm Bennett gets the Aaron's lucky dog. Nelson Piquet Jr., Austin Dillon bring the field to the green flag.
How about Johnny jumps to the inside of Austin Dillon on this restart?
Again, Dillon not up to speed quickly on the restarts. He drops back to the 3rd spot now and have to battle Cole Witt in that fuel doctor number 60 for that position. He might drop back to 4th.
See, Nelson Piquet Jr. is going to fight back on the outside. Johnny's trying to side draft on him to slow his momentum. Look at Piquet just drive by him on the outside. Held it wide open. Wow.
He did the same thing on that last restart. Gained big ground on our leaders. This time he takes the leader on the top.
It was 3 wide for second. Cole Witt. And that 60 makes his way up into the 2nd spot. Now battle for the 3rd position. Johnny Sauter trying to hang on to it, but Austin Dillon takes it away on the bottom of the racetrack.
You know, if I'm Austin, I'm a little bit concerned about these restarts. You get one of those babies late, and you don't get going any better than that, you're going to lose the race.
That looked like a transmission issue. Looked like he took off good, okay, in 2nd gear, Michael, but by the time they got up to top speed, he looked like he lost some momentum.
What about these couple of trucks here battling inside the top 5? Dakota Armstrong and David Starr.
David Starr trying to look to the inside. That number 81, Dakota Armstrong in the 98. Teammate to Johnny Sauter.
Side by side for that 6th spot. Just outside the top 5. They got company down on the bottom.
Timothy Peters is going to get by David Starr.
I think he got by both of them.
I think he got by both. And Austin Dillon, oh, trouble. Is that Brendan?
Brendan Gaughan potentially. It looks like the 62. And sure enough, it is. The 62 of Gaughan up against the wall. So a lot of smoke coming out of turn number 2. Caution comes out once again.
Got it turned around.
We just completed lap number 86. That means 64 to go. I don't think anyone would be in their pit window if they came to pit road now.
Light
Still
contact
a big gamble.
outside wall, Brian. Tires are done though. Need 4. Need 4. What happened? Some bitch is loose, man, on early tires. It's not my style of short run race car. It's too loose for me even.
You heard Brendan say it's too loose on a short run. There's another look coming off turn number 2. I think he makes slight contact. There's a slight contact with that left rear quarter panel into the outside wall.
Looks like maybe Brendan didn't know he was that close to the outside wall and had the gas down
trying to get it turned around.
Spun around the other direction and hit the outside wall.
Comes into view there already sideways.
Wasn't that cool? We heard right from the driver what happened. He said, this baby's loose now. Too loose for even me, Brendan said.
You notice how calm he was when he said, here comes Piquet down pit road.
Bringing Cole Witt with him.
James Buescher decided not to make the move onto pit road. So Nelson Piquet Jr., Cole Witt, 2 trucks on their way down, as well as Todd Bodine once again. Let's go back to Ray Dunlap.
Well, a little interesting pit strategy here. Not quite sure what Jeff Hensley's thinking, but Nelson Piquet brings it to a stop here with his Qualcomm Chevrolet. They go to right side tires there. You see on the left side the Fuel Doctor and Red Bull Chevrolet also going right side. This will be a 4-tire stop for Piquet for sure. This should be their last set of tires. They get him on. He will go away. A little bit of a hang up for Cole Witt on the left rear, and other trucks down in the front of the field on pit road. We saw Todd Bodine back in for service one more time. And also there's Jennifer Jo Cobb in her Dodge.
There may be a situation. There's Joey Coulter continuing to work on the damage to that truck. He gets the Aaron's lucky dog. Maybe a situation where they want to get their tires now, so all they need is just a little splash once they get in their pit window.
Yeah, we haven't seen the times fall off that much, so new tires won't be that big of an advantage. I think the track position, having your truck up front, will be more important than having new tires on it. I like that call, Phil.
Yeah, especially the guys talking about these cold temperatures with all this grip out here. Tires aren't as big an issue as they were here in July.
You can see Coulter, a lot of repairs to the front of that truck. Here comes Max Pappas out of the garage area after he tore the right side of that truck apart. He's number 9 there.
Yeah, he tore the whole right side off of that truck, so they had to replace that.
It's something still wrong with it. They didn't get it all fixed.
Yeah, that
looks like it's the track bars broke on that thing. It looks like. You see the rear end moving around.
Max says, "Oh no."
That is not the way it's supposed to feel and drive around this racetrack.
That would be about it.
Me doing my Italian accent.
You make us a lap, buddy.
So we're going to see Max Pappas make it back onto pit road.
Max makes one lap. He passes Miguel Paludo. Maybe that's what this team's after. Just go get that one spot.
We'll go to the trailer.
Yeah, just the 3 points. I'm sorry, 1 point. Used to be 3 for that position. Now it's 1.
Want to take a look at our Just for Men Live Forward. Next race for the trucks, the Smiths 350 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, another 1.5-mile racetrack. Austin Dillon, last year's winner.
It's another 1.5-mile racetrack, but it races a lot different than this 1.5-mile racetrack.
You know, guys, we talk about 1.5-mile racetracks, and there's 10 of them on the circuit right now. 8 of the last 12 years, the guy that won the championship is outpointed his closest pursuer on the 1.5 miles. That's how important they are in this series.
Just for Men hair color, Live Forward.
I use that stuff, Rick.
And it looks good.
Thank you.
Let's get some updates from pit road. We go to Ray.
Well, Rick, quickly, I said I wasn't sure what Jeff Hensley's schedule was here. Well, guess what? If we get 5 or 6 more laps of caution, they may not even need to pit. So by coming in on that last round of pit stops there to put 4 tires on it, Nelson Piquet may not come back down pit road rest of the night.
In front of the field, Austin Dillon, James Busher. Dillon on the outside, Busher on the inside. Green flag back in the air.
Austin got a good jump there, Phil, but Busher was able to drive back up beside him and looked like around him in turn 1.
Yeah, Austin's going to fight back on the outside. He may have a little momentum from the high side. Busher staying right there is going to side draft off him just a little bit.
Go to Armstrong in the 98, all over the back bumper of that 3. Now he moves up the racetrack. Still a race for the lead. Here comes Dillon to the inside once again. Busher out in front, side by side for third.
Tell you, that 98 truck of Dakota Armstrong has done a nice job this race. A little pit strategy got him up front, but he stayed there once he got there.
Look at him, strong around the high side of the racetrack, too. He doesn't give up when he gets up there. Keeps the hammer down and making some good time.
So the 31 of James Busher now out front and leading laps. Hermie?
And Rick, he was challenged to lead that lap by his crew chief. These guys stayed on the racetrack, and they reminded him with this restart, hey, you need to step up right here and lead us a lap. We need that bonus point for this championship. They challenged him, and James Busher got the job done and got him some bonus points.
That's your battle for the championship lead right there.
Running 1 and 2, Busher actually has taken the top spot away from Austin Dillon.
How big of a lead does he have, Rick?
Oh, about 2 points.
And if this flip-flops right now, that wouldn't be 1 point. Look at all this side-by-side racing. Jason White on the inside of Blake Feast. Look at Brendan go to the outside of Clay Rogers and that South Point Toyota.
Todd Bodine just split the 32 and 23 to get in front of him.
Brendan Vaughn, they put 4 tires on him, so I know it's loose. You're going to have to go back out there, though, Brendan.
Battle for the lead. Dillon to the inside. Busher on the outside. A great run for Austin Dillon as they go into 3.
He's able to clear James Busher this time. He's got that lead back. Busher's fighting back on the outside.
Busher.
I don't think he's going to get there.
Austin Dillon back out in front of the field. Dillon has led 5 laps now of this race. The most laps led, Nelson Piquet Jr. at 35 laps led. Hornaday's led 18. Timothy Peters was out front for 13.
How about Dakota Armstrong? We talked about just a moment ago what a good race for him. Going after his teammate Johnny Sauter for the 3rd spot.
I don't think there's any team orders there. Johnny Sauter running for a championship, but Dakota Armstrong going by.
That tells you about these tires. He hasn't pitted in 20, 30 some laps, but yet he's able to drive around Johnny Sauter. He's right on pace with the leaders, too. I'm impressed, Phil.
Doing a nice job. You know, he's got a little experience at this racetrack. He's run a couple of ARCA races here. As Johnny Sauter gets loose, has to chase it up the hill. Brian Eichler has to move up to give him some room.
Eichler on the outside, that number 18. Right from Kyle Busch Motorsports. Here comes Hornaday right through the middle. That 13 and 18. So Hornaday able to get by Johnny Sauter.
Hornaday couldn't wait for that hole to open up so he could take her 3 wide. He drove right between those two, trying to swipe that spot from Brian Eichler as they dive into turn 1.
Eichler's going to try to hang in there on the outside. Ron Hornaday.
Ron's got that pass completed.
Johnny Sauter has a battle now with a 17 truck of Timothy Peters. There's Ty Dillon getting by Johnny Sauter.
Ty Dillon in the Realtree 21. Ty, younger brother to Austin Dillon. Two brothers running in their first NASCAR race together.
The last time they were here together in Kentucky, they wound up getting in a fight.
In the fight, and Mom Tina had to separate them, and they didn't talk to each other all the way home.
Austin Dillon out in front of the field, right?
Yeah, and he just came on the radio and said my water temperature is climbing rapidly. Guys, get the binoculars out and take a look at the grill here. See if we've got something on the front of this thing. He said water temperature climbing in a hurry. They may have to pit.
Well, I don't see it either, Ray. We can't see anything from the shot we've got of Austin. Looks cool,
Turn the
Bill.
radiator fan on. Radiator fan off. You don't want the fan on.
And he's running out front, so obviously if he's got some issues with cooling and we don't see any paper, any trash on the grill, no traffic ahead of him, that could be bad. That could be issues with the engine.
Yeah, it looks pretty clean to me. It would be pretty obvious if there was a tissue or something, maybe a tear off, windshield tear off on the front. Doesn't look like that.
So we're talking about temperature problems for the three of Austin Dillon. Dillon out in front by 2.5 seconds. There's a battle for third. Hornaday taking the spot away from Dakota Armstrong.
Right behind this battle right here, Ty Dillon has taken another spot. He's moved up to the 5th spot. Got by Brian Eichler. Ty Dillon is getting racy here.
It was fun to watch him just get his feet under him early on. They got in a little track position. He got a taste of what it was like to be up front. He don't want to go anywhere else.
Remember, he was just, wanted to make sure he finished all the laps.
I told you that wasn't true.
He's in the top 5 now. Austin Dillon leading the race. Ty Dillon running 5th. Next Saturday, it's the historic and legendary Bathurst 1000 live on Speed. It's a race so big, we're sending our big guns in. Darrell Waltrip and Mike Joy will bring you the call. The Australian V8 Supercars Bathurst 1000 next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
Historic and legendary, is that roughly the same thing?
I believe so.
Hey, both good words. Really good.
We're sending legendary Hall of Famer Darrell Waltrip over there.
Ty Dillon on pit road right now.
Austin Dillon out in front. Brother Ty Dillon on pit road. Also on pit road was the 98 of Dakota Armstrong. A green flag pit stop puts him a lap down. There are 20 on the lead lap now.
Something's wrong with that truck, Phil.
Yeah.
You're just going to put some gas in it. You think it ran out?
Looks like they were shooting something into the coil, or where they normally, or the cowl where they normally will shoot some ether in.
Yeah, that's fuel they're putting straight into the carburetor bowl.
That thing ran out of gas. We saw
these trucks are really hard to refire too.
We saw just a lap before that Dakota Armstrong come to pit road too. So these strategies found these cats having to pit under green. We've had a lot of caution flags. I think that's why you saw so many different pit strategies and so many different stops. People just knew that eventually this race was destined for a long green flag run. They wanted to make sure they had their gas when it commenced, and that's a couple of trucks that didn't.
43 laps remaining. Austin Dillon stopped on lap 67, so we know he has to stop again before the end of this race. Ron Hornaday stopped on lap 80. He's running second. Buscher, Sauter, Eichler, your top 5. 3 on the same pit strategy, 2 on differing pit strategies.
See a little bit of damage on Johnny Sauter's truck. I think that's when he made a little contact with Brian Eichler. You see the rear bumper cover. That shouldn't hurt anything right there. Let's see if we can take another look at what happened. You see here he's going to move up the racetrack trying to get by Brian Eichler. Doesn't leave Brian enough room there. They make just a slight bit of contact. I don't think it's really hurt either truck, even though Johnny Sauter just lost another spot to Timothy Peters, and Justin Lofton is going to try to get by on the outside.
And there comes PK. That's a truck that has as much gas as Hornaday, and he's got those tires. I like that strategy right now for PK, especially with the speed that truck has shown. Could pay off as the laps wind down here. Just 41 to go.
Jeff Hensley, as the crew chief, moved over to that 8 truck just about a race ago. Remember, he's the guy that was calling the shots when Hornaday won that race at Atlanta on fuel mileage just a few races ago.
Right.
By tucking in right behind the 10 truck of Jennifer Jo Cobb, they believe they may have gotten rid of the trash on the front of the grill of the number 3 truck. Austin Dillon just came on and said, temperature starting to drop. It must have worked.
Yeah, even though we didn't see anything on there, there certainly might have been something on there. We heard Richard Childress, his grandfather, ask him what the water temperature was during our last commercial break. He said 250, staying right there. Richard said you should be okay.
So Austin Dillon out in front. He's got a 1.7 second lead, and Austin Dillon now 22 laps led in this one. Be a part of the chase with Speed Fantasy Racing on Fox. Manage your team of 5 drivers and compete against your friends for the ultimate bragging rights. Play Speed Fantasy Racing all chase long. Go to speed.com/fantasy and pick your 5 drivers today. Drivers making green flag pit stops, and we've just seen Johnny Sauter make his 2nd stop during this green flag run. Let's go down for Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, he came down to pit road and got 2 right side tires, and they tried to fix a little bit of the damage on the rear of this truck. Then when he got back on the racetrack, he got the bad news. Too fast entering, too fast exiting. Had to come back in for a pass through. It gets worse for Johnny Sauter.
You guys, I'm just not sure why they took the time to repair the damage to that right rear corner. I don't think it was affecting anything. It took, watched it on that first pit stop. It took several extra seconds to repair that damage.
And they didn't do a very good job of repairing it. Still damaged.
Yeah, they actually didn't even repair it. They spent 6 or 7 seconds trying to repair it.
So Johnny Sauter trying to win a championship this year. Now 2 laps down to the field. But again, everyone in front of, well, everyone with the exception of 5 trucks in front of him will have to come to pit road before the end of this race.
We're hearing our first, these are our first green flag pit stops. We saw Johnny Sauter too fast on pit road, as was the 17 of Timothy Peters. We're getting a report as well. So these guys have got to be a little bit conservative. If I'm a crew chief for spotters, I'd say, look, they're busting people. Back it down a couple hundred for me just to be safe on this green flag pit stop.
NASCAR will allow these teams 5 extra miles an hour. I'm like you, Michael. I'm say, let's don't push the envelope here. We got to make sure we don't have to come back in. Here comes Timothy Peters to serve his penalty of a pass-through.
So Timothy Peters was 17th, just 1 lap down. He will now go 2 laps down as he's serving this penalty. Ty Dillon 2 laps down. Dakota Armstrong's 2 laps down.
Johnny Sauter just got passed by Austin Dillon. That put him 3 laps down now. You see Johnny right behind Austin Dillon in that silver truck.
2nd place, Ron Hornaday. There he is between the 98 and 92.
Clay Rogers there in the 92. He's up to the 13th spot. Solid run for Clay tonight.
Race leader coming to pit road. Austin Dillon will relinquish the lead. Hornaday now your race leader as he crosses the stripe in front of him. Dillon coming to pit road for his final stop.
And Rick, Andy Houston came on the radio and said, be very conservative on your trip down pit road. NASCAR has busted a lot of drivers. He said, we've got the best truck here, so you don't need to do any speeding. He comes in. They are going to go to put tires on this Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. Austin Dillon said the truck started to get a little bit tight right there at the end of the run. Hermie.
Well, James Busser's coming to pit road, giving up the 2nd position. They're going to play a little bit of pit strategy here, going 2 right side tires on this 31 truck. He's a little bit too free. Right side tires for the 31. The 18 truck of Brian Eichler comes to pit road as well. These guys have been too loose all night long. Brian Eichler has not liked this truck. They're bringing it in. They're going to do an air pressure adjustment. Going to right side tires only is the call. We'll see. That's what they think with. Yes, 2 right sides and full of fuel for Brian Eichler.
Hornaday and Lofton running 1 and 2. They should be able to go at least another 7 or 8 laps before they will have to come on to pit road. But they are on a different strategy. We see Cale Gale in the Rheem number 33 making his way onto pit road. Ray.
Cale Gale is saying his truck is really, really tight. They want to make air pressure adjustments on the right side to try to help free him up a little bit. Talking on the radio constantly about confidence a little bit, something that Cale Gale has lacked a bit, and they spotter and crew chief trying to help him gain that as they go through there doing right side tires on that Rheem Chevrolet. 32 of Blake Feast also coming in. Remember, he was a truck that was involved in that Coulter crash on pit road earlier. Blake Feast saying that his truck is not consistent from run to run. They're going right side tires that Turner Motorsports entry. Also see a track bar adjustment there. Ricky Carmichael coming in. Monster Energy Chevrolet going right side tires. Ricky said he would like a little bit more forward bite coming up off the corner. They also made a track bar adjustment.
Phil, we talked about differing strategies. I sure do like Hornaday, Lofton, PK, some of these guys, especially PK, Cole Witt, and Jason White. They're only going to have to get a splash of gas here at the end. That's less time on pit road. They're going to gain some track position. Be interesting to see how all this plays out. But definitely some options with these tires. Teams knowing they can put on 2 or they can just get a splash of gas.
These tires have maintained their speed because of the cooler temperatures and the grip level. So I think you're exactly right. Maybe 3 or 4 seconds of fuel for somebody like PK Jr. may be the difference in winning this race or not.
They got to play their strategy right. They can't make any mistakes. This is getting down to the end of the race. You get busted on pit road now, your day's shot. You make a mistake early in the going, maybe you overcome it. Not at this point.
Their second place, Justin Lofton. He is 11 seconds behind Ron Hornaday. We only have 7 on the lead lap right now. Again, green flag pit stops continue to cycle through. We've had different strategies coming into this final pit stop. What a big night it would be for Ron Hornaday if he is able to get to the front and win this race. It would be win number 50, and we've had some amazing things already happen. 15 lead changes, 10 different drivers out front.
Yeah, we pretty much could tell what was going to happen last week in Loudon. We don't have any idea about tonight. There's been more different people up front, lead changes, differing strategies. This has been entertaining.
There's Austin Dillon. Remember, Austin right now is being shown 1 lap down. He gets by our second place truck of Justin Lofton. But again, 1 lap down to Ron Hornaday.
And by the way, Ron Hornaday's 12 seconds ahead, Austin. You won't be seeing the leader for a while. But Ron will be to pit road before much longer.
Yeah, we would expect Ron to be coming to pit road around lap 130, maybe 135, in between that area. And that's coming up here in the next 2 to 5 laps.
See Ty Dillon move over for Austin. Now he knows Austin has a good truck right now, trying to make up some ground here because he knows Ron Hornaday, if this race stays green, is going to have to make a pit stop. Ty wants to run as fast as Austin wants to run as fast as he can every lap in order to be able to be in front of Ron Hornaday when Ron makes his pit stop.
I'm just curious about Nelson Piquet Jr. When they threw the green flag, he didn't go charging around the top side and fly through all that traffic he was in. He just sort of rode in line there. Maybe they began saving fuel as soon as the green flag dropped after his pit stop on lap 87. Maybe he thinks he's got an outside shot of stretching it really close to the end.
63 laps, Michael. That's a man. But Jeff Hensley, he won that race at Atlanta with Ron Hornaday.
Justin Lofton gives up second place. He makes his way onto pit road. Hermie.
Justin Lofton has had a great run all night long. They're coming to pit road calling for 2 right side tires. They're going to try to get by with about 1 can of gas to get to the finish. But this team, new manufacturing Chevrolets, he's 1 can of gas, 2 right side tires. Really been strong the last couple of weeks, trying to bring home a good finish.
Problems for Jason White in the 23. He's slow on the racetrack, trying to stay down on the bottom of the track.
He's going to be on the access road. I think he has stayed off the racetrack. I didn't know if that was speedy dry or speed zorb down there that he was running through, or maybe a little bit of smoke out of that truck. Do you think maybe he ran out of fuel? That was only about 45 laps, but we don't know for sure that he got it full on his pit stop.
Yeah, and he pitted on the same lap that PK Jr. did as well. So
this time, watch pit road.
Sounds like Hornaday's coming this time. You think so, Phil?
Sounded like Bruce Cook calling him to pit road. Said, watch your speed now.
Slow on pit road is Jason White in the 23. We're seeing a couple other trucks making their way onto pit road now as well. Here comes race leader Ron Hornaday. Pivotal stop for the 2 team.
They're going to go up on air pressure, Rick, on the right front for Ron Hornaday. Plus 1 pound, that's his adjustment. Remember, when you look at the stats, his last 2 races here, he finished 27th and 29th. They believe tonight might be win number 50 for Hornaday. Right side tires only going to give it just a little bit of gas. This pit stop will happen on lap 133. Tires away, Hornaday back to the racetrack.
All the way.
So a quick stop for Ron Hornaday, making his way back out onto the racetrack. Nelson Piquet Jr. out in front of the field now. He came onto pit road on lap 87. So he again may be trying to stretch this all the way. He's going to have to go into fuel conservation mode very quickly if he's going to make it the remaining 16 laps.
He needed to do it when he started this run, not now.
Inside of 16 to go, Nelson Piquet Jr. out in front.
Welcome back to the Kentucky 225. Nelson Piquet Jr. gives up the lead to come to pit road. 2.5 seconds worth of fuel and a quick wedge adjustment. No tires for the 8. We'll see where it puts him back onto the racetrack. Is he going to be close to the leader, guys?
Well, right now, Todd Bodine is your race leader. He will have to come to pit road, as well as his teammate Brendan Gaughan. Piquet Jr., it's going to be close to find out if he and Ron Hornaday will be able to battle it out for this lead or win.
See Todd running low, waving his hand, coming to pit road, just letting Timothy Peters there behind him know what his plans are.
Todd's awfully slow there.
We saw Piquet. He looked fast when he got to that cone. I guess he got it slowed down. I'm not hearing a penalty for Piquet, but darn, that was close, I think.
It's going to be our race leader right there at the left of your screen, Ron Hornaday. He has about a second lead right now on Austin Dillon, who's running in the second spot.
And he ran a faster lap time than Dillon that last time too, Phil. So they're going to have a heck of a time getting Ron up out of this 2 truck if they're planning on it before the year's over.
Your top 3 have enough fuel. They can make it all the way. Hornaday, Austin Dillon, James Buescher will easily be able to make it on fuel. Let's go back trackside to Ray.
Real quick splash for the Valvoline Tundra for Todd Bodine. They have thrown everything and the kitchen sink at this truck tonight, but he said it is just way too loose. Not going to be a contender for the win tonight for Bodine.
Austin Dillon, last lap by, was the fastest on the racetrack, but he's got a lot of gap. He's got a gain on Hornaday. 9/10 of a second as we have just 9 laps to go.
That's just a 10th of a lap, isn't it?
Yeah, and he got just that, a 10th last time by, Phil. So he has some speed on Ron on that last trip around the track.
Going to have some traffic to deal with. There's 4 trucks right now running in front of Ron Hornaday. I'm not sure he's going to get him this lap. If not this lap, though, he'll get him next lap.
There it is again. Austin Dillon faster than Hornaday that time by. Closing the gap with just 8 laps to go.
It's going to be tight, Phil. But you know, Hornaday's racing toward victory tonight with a fast truck. We saw him win Atlanta on pit strategy. I know win number 50 with a fast truck would mean the world to Ron.
How about this traffic right here? Now look at Austin Dillon close up in traffic.
Hornaday trying to get by his teammate, Cale Gale. Austin Dillon closing the gap now. Almost to the back bumper and to the back bumper of Hornaday. Here's the battle for the lead.
Yeah, traffic was the key right there. Now they're going to move around Joey Coulter. Austin in the tire tracks of Ron Hornaday.
I like the way Hornaday entered turn 1. He knew Coulter would be an issue. Went in a little bit high. Austin looked under him, but Ron made the run around Coulter and held Austin off.
Hornaday, a gap once again, looking for his 50th win in the Camping World Truck Series. Austin Dillon.
Put a gap on Austin there through the traffic. That was a veteran move and a solid move by Ron Hornaday down in turn 1.
Gained about 3/10 of a second that time on Austin. Austin's going to try to fight back using a little bit higher line right now. They're pulling up on the back of Todd Bodine. Todd doesn't want to go a lap down. He's the last truck on the lead lap right now.
Ron's able to get to the bottom of Todd in 3 and 4, but he's not going to be able to clear him. Yes, Todd gives him a break.
Look at the momentum Austin's going to have when he gets there.
A little bobble by Hornaday at the bottom of the racetrack allows Dillon to close the gap once again. That time by 0.2 of a second separate 1 and 2.
I believe Todd Bodine gave Ron a break there. Ron was stuck to the inside. Maybe Todd rolls out of the gas a little bit. It did break Ron's momentum, but it could have been a lot worse.
This is what Austin Dillon needs. He needs a longer run. That's where he's been fastest. When he gets into his rhythm, he's able to go faster than anybody on the racetrack.
We've got less than 5 laps to go here. We're coming down to 4 laps to go. He's not going to get a longer run.
4 laps remaining when they cross the stripe. The difference between 1 and 2. 0.3 of a second. So Hornaday a little quicker that lap, able to put some distance between he and Austin Dillon.
But look at Austin down on the bottom of the track in 1 and 2. Gained some ground on Hornaday.
Austin pulls in with a couple truck links right now.
Oh, this is good stuff here. A couple of guys flat out right now, Phil, racing for the win. You got the young man, Austin Dillon, chasing the veteran, Ron Hornaday, looking for win number 50. Austin Dillon's looking for his first championship this year.
First championship and 4th Truck Series win. His last win came earlier this year at Chicagoland, and it was a monumental win. He was able to beat Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Now, if he can beat the most wins ever in the Truck Series.
Did you like those differing lines you saw there, Phil? Ron ran in just a little bit high and slower and then exited hard. Austin did the opposite. He went in strong, but he lost the nose leaving the corner.
I think right now I'd like to have the momentum leaving the corner right now. Ron Hornaday able to hold him off now. Just 2 to go.
2 laps remaining. Hornaday 3 miles away from win number 50. Austin Dillon still 0.4 of a second back from Hornaday.
Doesn't look like lap traffic is going to play a factor in this race. It's just a couple of cats giving it all they got.
Just heard Andy Houston say, beat him on exit. Beat him on exit.
And he saw the same thing we saw. He saw Ron pull out at the exit of the corner.
White flag goes in the air. 1 lap remaining in Kentucky.
Been a lot of different drivers winning that 2-truck this year. Will Ron Hornaday's name be added to that list?
What about Ron stepping up and saying, I can drive this 2-truck to victory lane as well? He's got about 10 truck lengths on Austin Dillon as they head into 3.
Hornaday, 2 wins already this season. Texas and Atlanta, both 1.5-mile tracks. Will he add Kentucky to it? This will be his 3rd win in Kentucky if he holds on. Coming out of 4. Ron Hornaday wins career race number 50.
Thank you. God darn, guys. You guys are awesome. Good pit call.
How about that? Do you think after 49 previous ones, he's still pretty happy, isn't he?
I bet you none of them feels any better than this one. Don't you think, Phil?
Absolutely.
His first win, April 8th, 1995 at Tucson Park. That's how far he has come in this series. From the very inception of the series in 1995 to now his 50th win, a monumental win.
He wants to know if he can burn it down.
Can I burn this thing down?
You don't hear that from Ron Hornaday very often, but then again, no one's ever won 50 races in this series.
And remember, this team is disbanding. Ron Hornaday right now does not have a ride for next year.
And this proves a whole lot to a lot of people, I think. People were whispering, does Ron still have it? He just drove flat out to the victory. No strategy involved. Just drove the wheels off that truck and beat the fastest guy in the garage, Austin Dillon. I love Ron's accomplishment tonight.
No fuel strategy. No slowest truck on the racetrack at the end. The fastest truck on the racetrack at the end.
You look at the numbers. When Hornaday won that first race back in 1995, the guy who finished second in this race was 5. Austin Dillon, 5 years old back in 1995, and Hornaday has racked up 50 wins in the Camping World Truck Series.
He's struggled in his 33 truck at times this season, like really loose. We've seen him bobbling around. Tonight he was bobbling, but he was bobbling, hauling the mail, wasn't he?
Sure was. He's going to gain a little bit of ground on the points. Austin Dillon will leave here with a point lead once again, but Ron has closed it up a little bit, only 42 behind now.
Again, a great manufacturers championship building between Chevrolet and Toyota. A great owners championship between Kevin Harvick Incorporated and Kyle Busch. And now the drivers championship, Hornaday with another win. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World and Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. By AutoZone. Parts is just part of what we do. Get the zone, AutoZone. And Ram Trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've built. Ram. Let's head to victory lane number 50 for Ron Hornaday.
Well, here comes the master. He climbs out. 4 championships. One that got away by only 7 points. But when you look back on all the accomplishments, maybe none quite as impressive as tonight at Kentucky Speedway. He said on the radio, good pit call, but also some awesome driving. How about that? What an accomplishment. Does it even sink into you just how amazing that is to get win number 50?
Thank you, Kevin Delena. This is so awesome. Give me Bruce and all these guys. I'm excited just going around the track. I'm tired of just that, but Hollywood Casinos, thanks for coming aboard. And it takes so many people, and this bottle belt seat, that's bad. I mean, I felt that thing. It got sideways a couple times. Bruce tightened it up and really got the truck good. But, man, all through the year, it takes a lot of people. Kroger, Hunt's Brother Pizza, Ream, Armored, Chevrolet.
How about this girl here in the pink?
She was with me, every one of them. I can't say enough for Kevin Delaney, believing in me, putting me in the 2 truck. At least got my 50th win. That's pretty darn cool. And I don't know what that does for points, but Hope Kell did pretty good to keep that 33 up there.
Big line of drivers coming in here to celebrate along with Ron Hornaday. An amazing accomplishment in NASCAR. He now has his 50th win in the Camping World Truck Series. Hermie?
Well, also knows not what you wanted. Had led everything this all weekend long and come home second. Still a good run for you guys. Tell us about those last few laps, moving around your line, trying to get the job done.
Yeah, just trying everything, driving so hard, and right front just started pushing really bad. I got tight in traffic, and I could gain a lot on entry into the center to him. That was our only chance, really. Other than that, I just got so tight that last run, and the guys did a good job on pit road. We had a little problem with the water temp getting really high at one point, and I was worried about it, so I was backing off quite a bit, and that's where we lost some of our lead for getting on pit road. And just it's close. I think Bass Pro Shops is a good point stay for us. Everybody's still close, so we'll go to Las Vegas, a place where we won at last year, and take the same truck and see if we can do it again.
And talk about that championship battle. First time you've really been in this position, trying to defend, your points title as well. How do you think you'll have to race, points race and try to win some races as you head down the stretch?
I'm going to have to do better on restarts. I don't know what our problem is. When I go to third, I get killed. We lose there. Other than that, we're just keep doing what we're doing. Finishing these races, staying out of trouble, getting them at the end. When we're there at the end, we'll have a shot at this championship.
That's Austin Dillon. He comes home second.
Thanks, Hermie. Take a look at our point standings. With 5 races remaining in the season, Austin Dillon has a 3-point lead over James Busher, 2 21-year-olds up top.
Yeah, and the 50-some-year-old said, don't count me out yet, y'all. I got a shot at you.
Hey, look at this top 5 right here. 3 of our top 5 finishes today in the top 5 in points. Ron Hornaday, our winner, now 42 points back.
Johnny Sauter, some issues on pit road, but was able to rebound for a 14th place finish, so it didn't kill him tonight.
A big night for Ron Hornaday. Able to grab his 50th win, continuing to set the records in the Camping World Truck Series. Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. Even though Austin Dillon for James Busher tonight. James Busher finished 3rd in this race, and he's 3 points back in the points championship. Standing by with Hermie.
James Busher getting a little drink. You come on third tonight. Tell us about you guys' pit strategy on and off pit road. Came on with a solid finish.
I was surprised as much as everybody pitted tonight, but it helped us because we kept making adjustments to the truck all night long. On the fuel stops, we make wedge adjustments and just little adjustments to get the truck better. And we struggled tight in the beginning, then a little loose in, and the truck really took off, drove the best when we finally got a lot of laps on some tires. And told that to Shelton and the guys, and they kind of put a strategy together to go for 2 tires. We weren't as good as the 2 and the 3, so didn't hurt to try it, but it didn't work out anyway. But a 3rd place finish is definitely what we need for this XI Batteries team. We've had a couple rough races the last couple weeks, but I think this is the way we'll run the rest of the year.
That's James Busher. He comes home third. He keeps a tight points battle going with Austin Dillon.
Thanks, Hermie. I tell you what, he needs to do something like this. Finish 3rd because his closest competitor finished 2nd today, Austin Dillon, with a great run, a great points run, and a great truck all weekend.
Yeah, and we're heading to Vegas where Austin won last year. But I do like James's pace. I mean, he's able to fight and finish right up front. There's Austin's brother Ty down in 18th, but darn, Phil, got to give him an A for the run tonight. Really solid for Ty Dillon.
Yeah, it had some good pit strategy. Got him up front. He raced up front, passed his way up into the top 5. But we go back to the top 5, and let's give a call out to Nelson Piquet Jr., who was so fast, finished 4th. And Brian Eichler did a nice job in Kyle Busch's truck to finish 5th.
50 wins.
That's amazing.
The 53-year-old out of Palmdale, California, a big smile on his face. Wife Lindy there in his arm as they're celebrating a huge milestone in this series.
Yeah, the guy on his left, on his right, our left, is Bruce Cook, who's won with 3 different drivers this year in that 2 truck.
Racing under the lights in the Camping World Truck Series. It was a little bit cold, but the racing on the track heated up. Austin Dillon was fast. Hornaday was able to use strategy to get out front and hold on for the momentous 50th win of his career, the most by any driver in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
In 2 weeks, the Camping World Truck Series heads west to Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Last year at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Austin Dillon got his second win of the season on his way to his Rookie of the Year title. This year, he's betting on the new title of Champion. Who will have the best poker face in Vegas? Tune in to find out. Chris Devoda hosts the setup starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.